Delighted to have you on Channel 45's live coverage of the Minnesota State High School Football Championships at the Notre Dame. Post-game brought to you by 5 Eyewitness News, leading with more news. We continue after this timeout.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Gentlemen, remove your hats as the colors are presented by the color guard from Cretin-Derham Hall High School. Members of the color guard are James Chandler, Joseph Ewald, Tim Pisha, Eric Windsor, and Ian McQuillan. We now honor America with the singing our national anthem. The anthem will be sung by the chamber singers from Wayzata High School under the direction of Rebecca Weifels.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
A full day of football here at the Notre Dame, and after one of the best championship games in Prep Bowl history, now Cretin-Derham Hall and Wayzata will meet in the 5A championship game. Welcome back to the Dome, Dick Bramer and Daryl Thompson. Most people who watch these teams play all year long expect a lot of points. So if that's the case here today, we're going to have a featured running back in Joey Miller and Joe Springer. Should both have very good days.
Oh, yeah, Joey Miller came into this season with over 1,500 yards, so I expect to see big things from him this afternoon. And then Springer, he is the leader for Cretin on offense, their quarterback who came into this season with into this game actually with 19 touchdown passes and 198 attempts. So he's really something they're going to have to keep an eye on this afternoon at Wayzata.
Two teams that have been very, very good on both sides of the football. It's kind of a tough act to follow after what we saw in the 4A game.
Oh, man, that was much, much more a game than we bargained for. But I tell you what, I'd rather do that than sit through one of those blowouts. But, Holy Angels really has nothing to complain about in that game. They gave, everything they had to Matamidi in that game.
Going to be another fun football game here at the Prep Bowl. Let's go back down to the field to ride.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. The introduction's going on the field. And back with Jim Farnhorst, the two teams, I look at the statistics and have watched their season unfold, and they are so dramatically similar. And you watched the first game. Is that accurate?
Yeah, up to a point. Wayzata will run a little bit more. Cretin-Derham Hall will throw the ball quite a bit. Joey Springer does a very pro-like. He drops back very far, sets up, and he's got some great receivers out there. Wayzata has a really good defense, as does Cretin-Derham Hall, so they do match up very well. But they both have explosive offenses and great defenses.
Springer, our high school player of the week last week. Now, if Wayzata is to win, what will they do that sets them apart?
Well, I think they're going to have to shut down the pass. They're going to have to blitz to get after Springer so that he can't set up.
And on the other side, quickly, Cretin-Derham Hall, the intangible for them.
They have to shut down Joey Miller and put pressure on Ben Gaither.
It's going to be a great game. And let's get back up to the booth. Dick and Daryl standing by for tonight's call of the 5A championship.
Thank you, guys, for Wayzata. They were in this game a year ago, losing to Minnetonka 23-14, and a lot of the players who had to suffer the defeat last year have a chance to come back and win a championship this year.
Yeah, no, he did, and I got an opportunity to talk to Brad Anderson about last season. He said, you know what, this year we broke our season into 4-game segments, and he really felt like the turning point was when they went to the Upper Peninsula and played against Marshfield, a high school up there. They beat them 28-0. He felt like ever since then his team has been back on track. They're hitting on all cylinders, and he's got the big-time players to take it all the way tonight and get that state championship trophy that they feel like they earned and deserved.
I think one of the guys down in the field there, Jim Fonhorst, isn't a little nervous. Here's Logan Fonhorst, his son, who'll kick it off for Wayzata.
A lot of depth over there, and Logan Farnhorst is a nice linebacker and a safety, so we'll see. He'll get an opportunity to kick here tonight, but in the future, he hopes to play at that safety or linebacker position for Wayzata.
And we're about ready to get this 5A championship game underway. From the 8 out to the 31-yard line. Justin Claiborne returning the kick.
A nice run back right there by Claiborne. Not only did he catch that ball, but he's actually had forward momentum, and that's really what you do want to have when you catch a kickoff. Forward momentum, so you got speed moving into the ball, and he brings that ball out to about the 32-yard line.
So Joe Springer played so well last week in Cretin-Derham Hall's very impressive win over Eden Prairie. The tough defense, and they ran up 42 points against that outstanding Eden Prairie defense. Junior quarterback brings them up. In motion is Lambert. And Springer sets up and goes deep right away. Incomplete. And the pass intended for Lambert.
Yep, they were trying to find Lambert over there, but it was outstanding defense because that cornerback over there knew exactly what he was doing. He was looking back, leaning into Lambert, not allowing him to get a good focus on that ball at all.
And Springer aired it out with great success against Eden Prairie last week. 2nd down and 10. Three wide receivers. And Springer again to the far sideline, incomplete. Pass intended for Michael Floyd. And the Raiders are 0 for 2 through the air. At least Springer is. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Yeah, 0 for 2. It's surprising. Cretin-Derham Hall throwing the ball the first 2 plays of the game for a team that typically would like you would think they'd want to get the ball on the ground and take a little bit of time off that clock, but they average 32 points a game, and they figure they're going to get a few of them through the air to get this game started.
Way back on September 9th, these two teams met, and the game went to Wayzata 37-19. And here's a pitch. Hickey across the 35, or maybe to the 35, short of first down yardage. And we'll have the first punt of the night.
A nice little misdirection right there, but Cretin unable to pick up the first down right there. Needed 10 yards. They picked up about 3 on that play right there.
That was John Nance taking the snap. So 4th down and 7. Ben Spencer will do the punting. Beautiful kick. My goodness. Beautiful spiral. Taken at the 22. Miller returns it a couple. Wayzata will take over. 1st and 10. Across the 30-yard line. A 44-yard punt and an 8-yard return.
Well, they get everything they can out of Joey Miller. Not only do they have him running the ball, 13 touchdowns and 1,500 yards coming into this game, they also have him returning punts. So he is a man in demand on that Wayzata team. He was defensive back last year, and they had such depth that running back didn't need him, but they moved him over to where he probably belongs. If a guy gets 1,500 yards, he probably should be a running back.
Wayzata jumped out early last week against Eastview, scoring 14 points in each of the first 3 quarters. A pass incomplete. Ben Spencer looking for Frank Ritchie, incomplete.
Yeah, unable both of these teams coming out passing today. We've gotten used to that last game where they were running just about on every carry. But quarterback right here, Ben Gaither, comes out and tries to find his receiver right there, and he's unable to come down with the ball.
Gaither with the pitch. Joey Miller across the 35. Outstanding football player, and if anything, a better hockey player.
I heard he's an outstanding hockey player too, but if he's a better hockey player than a football player, he's got to be one whale of a hockey player. That kid's got 1,500 yards coming into this game, and that was a nice run right there. He got underneath that defender right there and gets upfield, picks up about 7 yards on 2nd down.
3rd down and 3. Miller held short. He got to about the 41-yard line, needed to get to the 42.
Ethan Hyde in there on that tackle. Ethan will play a little bit both ways this afternoon for Cretin. You can see Joey Miller hit it up in there. Ethan Hyde and the rest of that Cretin defense not having it. We got 4th down and 1. Looks like Wayzata's going to be punting.
So in the 4A championship game, we got to halftime with neither team punting. Each team has to punt early here in the 5A championship game. This is Matt McQuillan returning it to about the 34-yard line. So the Raiders will take over for their 2nd possession of the game. No score, less than 2 minutes into the opening period. The first quarter of the 5A championship game brought to you by Wells Fargo, the next stage. Mike Scanlon told me the other day that these two offenses, in his mind, mirror each other. Well, both had similar results, 3 and out in their first possessions. Raiders get their 2nd possession starting at the 35. Springer deep to the sideline. Incomplete. Try to get it to Kim Royston. It'll be 2nd down and 10, and both teams wanting to put the ball up in the air.
There's even no question about that. They put the ball in the air the majority of these plays right here. And right here you see the quarterback drop back, Joe Springer, trying to find Kim Royston running down that sideline right there. And Kim is a person that I would like to see, if I were a Cretin fan, a little bit more involved in the offense. He averages 30 yards per carry when he gets to touch the ball when he's running it.
2nd and 10. Raiders not ranked in the final poll yet. Here they are in the 5A championship game. Long count. Springer handing off up the middle. Short game. 2, maybe 3 yards.
Is that Chris Hickey hitting the ball up in there and doing a good job. That Cretin offense trying to pave the way a little bit, but there's just not very much room there. So we get a shot of the head coach Mike Scanlon on the sideline.
Assistant there for 19 years, also played for Cretin-Derham Hall. First year as head coach, and here he is in the championship game. First time the school's been to this game since the year 2000. Springer feeling the heat and down at the 30-yard line.
That's the big linebacker right there, Tommy Becker. 96 tackles coming into this game. They feel like he is a Division I prospect, somebody you hear a lot about. And right there, he gets to the quarterback in the backfield, Joe Springer. Right there, he beats 2 blockers at the line of scrimmage and able to bring down Joey Springer for about an 8-yard loss on that play.
Another punt coming. Ben Spencer, the kicker. And another nice high spiral. Taken at the 28. And spun down. Great play on the special teams. Chad Samuelson covering the punt well. 8:39 left. Nothing so far but 3 punts. We're back on 45. Shows you what we know. We thought there'd be a lot of offense in this game. So far, neither team's had a first down. We've had 3 punts.
It's almost like 2 heavyweight boxers just really feeling each other right here. They've just been airing that ball out, but I think they got to settle down and get after it here. At least complete some balls or catch them when you get an opportunity. Like Ben Vanderheyden dropped that ball for Wayzata right there. And sometimes nerves, you know, it's a big game, state championship, and a lot of these guys haven't been here before and may never be here again. Sometimes it's your last opportunity. You see, it looks like a pretty nice pass right here by Gaither. Just a little bit high, but that's a pass that I bet Ben makes all the time in the offseason.
Second down and 10. Miller. Oh, nothing there. Great pursuit again by this Raider defense.
Yeah, Robbie Punch and the rest of that Raider defense all there, allowing Joey Miller really nowhere to go on that play. Penetration to line of scrimmage, and then just good, solid fundamental defense by Cretin right there, not allowing any running lanes for Joey Miller. We take a low look at it right here. This is what it looks like from the football field, actually. So kind of a different view for you, but you can see nowhere to run for Joey Miller.
Wiley Wickstrom in on the tackle for the Raiders. Pass complete. And a first down, the first down of the evening. Jacob Bagel with the catch and a first down for the Trojans.
And a nice catch right there, just trying to get some momentum going for Wayzata. Jake Bogle catches that, and I think a little bubble screen over on left goes back to the inside, picks up a first down. Good tackle right there. Then the play by Fred Agier.
Bogle with the catch and a first down outside the 41-yard line. Miller picks up 5, maybe 6 yards.
You can see what they like about Miller. I hadn't had much of an opportunity to see him before this game, but he is a hard runner. Keeps his shoulders down over his knees and just runs hard and picks up yards. Not real shifty, but he has got some pretty good speed. And right there, you can see he picked up 7 yards for Wayzata.
Got a look at Brad Anderson in his 7th year as the head football coach at Wayzata. Gaither with a completion. To the 40-yard line. Tyler Klein with the catch and the scamper for another Wayzata first down.
And now Wayzata's starting to open up their playbook a little bit. They find Tyler Klein over here on the edge of the defense. Throw him the ball. He's able to get out there on the edge of that Cretin defense and pick up some positive yards.
Things starting to loosen up a little bit perhaps here, at least for the Trojans. 1st and 10 from the Raider 40. Hand off up the middle. And a pickup by Zwaber down to the 32-yard line. Pickup of 8.
Yeah, and what that does when you get to the edge of the defense like they did on the last 2 plays, it opens up things on the inside. Right here, as you see the back getting up there on the inside and picking up some yards for Wayzata.
2nd and 2. Completed, but I believe short of first down yardage, right near the 30-yard line.
A nice tackle right there by Matt Waquillan. It looked like he was able to pick up a first down easy. As it is, it's 3rd down and short, which gives Cretin with that tough inside they have right there. It looks like they brought Carufel in to try to shore up that middle a little bit more, so be a little bit tough going on the inside.
Bo Elikanen on the receiving end of that pass, now 3rd and less than a yard. Miller gets the call, breaks it outside for an additional 5 yards and a first down for the Trojans.
Solid running right there by Miller on the inside, but even more than that, it's just patience right there. He saw what he liked on the inside and was able to bounce that ball back to the backside right there and take advantage of his speed and pick up a first down. You can see it was great blocking, but a lot of stalemates across the front of the line, and he cuts it back and finds a seam on the backside.
Under 5.5 minutes now in the first quarter. Miller dragged down as he crossed the 25, got to the 21, 22-yard line. Lance Bonner with the catch, or with the tackle rather.
And Lance Bonner did a good job of wrapping him up because Joey Miller does not go down with the first arm tackle. He's solid. I can see that little hockey angles in his body. He's used to running and getting away from people.
10th play of the drive for the Trojans. As you look at Joey Miller, and the officials want timeout. An equipment problem, I believe, for Lance Bonner. That's fixed, and we're ready to go. Klein in motion. And the handoff up the middle to Miller across the 20.
Broderick Brins right there on the tackle, bringing down Miller after he picked up a few yards in that play. It was a nice move by Miller in the backfield to get there. Carufel had penetration in the backfield. Bonner able to bring him down from the backside.
Vince came up with the big play last week against Eden Prairie, with Eden Prairie threatening to tie the game and take the momentum. He stripped the ball and recovered late in the ball game. Swing pattern across the middle, touchdown.
Nice pass right there by Ben Gator, finding his receiver Jake Bogle on the slant route. One thing you can't allow is for a receiver to get across your face, and Cretin did it right there. He got across his face, caught that ball, and got into the end zone. Jake Bogle for the first touchdown of the game. Wayzata up 6-0.
Jacob Bogle with the touchdown, and the Trojans get the game's first points. Kick is up and good. Second possession for the Trojans, and they take it in for a touchdown. Bogle with the touchdown reception on the slant, and it's 7-0 Wayzata. We're back on 45. The 5A championship game with Wayzata taking a 7-0 lead.
A nice drive right there by Wayzata. Settle it down a little bit. We saw him airing it out in the first two drives, both Cretin and Wayzata. On that last drive, Wayzata was able to complete some of the balls. Then he got into their running game, and at the end, the really nice slant right to Bogle.
Von Horst to kick it. Out to the 36-yard line. The return by Justin Claiborne. Let's take another look at the touchdown pass to Jake Bogle.
Jake Bogle against Kim Royson over there on that left-hand side. They really feel like Kim Royson's a big-time cornerback, but right there, Jake Bogle gets it across his face, scores a touchdown, puts Wayzata up.
So now Springer bringing the Raiders to the line, down 7-0. First and 10 for the Raiders. Across the middle, underthrown ball near midfield, incomplete. Pass intended for John Nance.
And he had John Nance right there. Unfortunately, that was a well-conceived play by Cretin-Derham Hall, and looked like Floyd might have been open too there, but Joey Springer just bounced that ball off the turf about 3 or 4 yards in front of him.
Second down and 10. Michael Floyd coming to the near side. Incomplete again. Pass intended
For Kyle Moore.
Kyle Moore. Yep, incomplete. It'll be third down.
And they're putting pressure on him. Looks like the quarterback, Joe Springer's limping out of the game right now. Yeah, he got hit just as he was releasing that ball. Just couldn't get the ball to Kyle Moore.
It'll be John Nance taking the snaps and some movement along the line. Now Springer missed a couple of weeks after the Wayzata game. He hurt a knee in practice, and I thought that he might be lost for the year back in September. But he came back, and we don't know whether that's a re-injury of the knee or not. And for the meantime, or in the meantime, John Nance will do the quarterbacking.
Well, I think he hurt his finger, and he also hurt his knee, so he's been a little bit banged up. And they really felt like since he's been back and healthy now, they've really got things back on track. But it's a tough deal when you lose your starting quarterback on in the first quarter.
3rd and 15. Nance, who had Springer, who had such a good game last week, will sit for at least a little while. And off to Hickey, and not much room there. It'll be the 3rd Cretin-Derham Hall punt. Well, they've yet to pick up a first down.
And you know that when you bring in the backup quarterback right away, they're probably not going to be airing the ball out. Although John Nance, 22 of 36, 6 touchdowns this season, so he's not. He's been fairly successful this year, but I'm sure that they'd rather have Joe Springer in there.
Ben Spencer's a good punter, but I don't think the Raiders want to see him on the field as much as he's been on the field. Low end over end kick, fielded at the 33, and it's Miller with a big return across midfield to the 46. That he ran up to catch the ball was a big enough play, and then he put some yards on the return.
He sure did right there. I tell you, that's a fearless young man right there. He ran, caught that ball, even though it looked like it might have been an opportunity for him to get a fair catch, but he runs up, catches it, and then he laces it all up in there inside. It must have been a middle return on in that play right there, because there was just a little bit of blocking in there for him. He's able to pick up some nice yards.
And there's a flag back at the 21. Looks like a roughing the kicker penalty, which will give the Raiders possession of the ball again.
It could be a big break, very big break for Cretin if that's what happened. It looks like that's what happened.
Well, you can see John Nance, or Joe Springer back in the game, I should say. So he was out for just one play. And now a timeout for Wayzata.
Well, it's probably good that Joe Springer's back into the game. You know, 19 touchdowns this season, 116 completions, only 8 picks. So he's a big part of their offensive attack. And for him to be tweaked like that and to come back in the game is something that's pretty important.
Alex Hass rushing the punter. Looked like he kind of got blocked into the punter, but the flag was thrown anyway.
Well, it looked like he tried to hold off at the last second, but there's really nothing you can do in that situation. You've got to think about make sure that you've got a path, that your goal is to get to the front foot of that punter, not to the body of the punter. And unfortunately, that situation, a lot of times with the aggressiveness that you're trying to have in a state championship game, you kind of forget about some of those little details, and right there it hurt him.
3 possessions so far for Cretin-Derham Hall, and they've amassed -1 yard in offense. It's over 4 decades of classic comedy, and the only place to find it is right here on Channel 45. Every weeknight from 7 to 10, take a trip back and see classic episodes from shows you've always loved. 45 is television with variety. Springer, as we said, back in the game. Zips a throw complete. A little mustard on that throw across the 40. Catch made by Kyle Moore. It's a first down, and the first down for the Raiders.
And a nice throw right there by Springer. See, it looks like he's got that leg brace on, but didn't affect that arm right there. He threw a missile in there to Kyle Moore. That's a very nice ball.
They mark it at the 37, 1st and 10 for Cretin-Derham Hall. Springer's first completion. Again to the air. Again complete. Spinning away is Robert Lambert, and he takes it for another Raider first down inside the 25.
Well, now it looks like Cretin's starting to get some momentum, and got that offense meshing over there. Robbie Lambert and Joey Springer connecting right over here on the sideline, and the missed tackle over there on the defense. But Sam Zera's got to make sure he wraps up and you get an opportunity. Otherwise, those receivers are going to run away from you.
So now things opening up offensively for the Raiders a little bit. 1st and 10 from the 23. Springer flushed. And wrapped up at the 29.
Well, that's one thing Springer's going to want to be careful of, especially if he's a little bit nicked up. He's got a banged up finger, he's got a banged up knee. If he gets outside that pocket, he needs to try to find someone upfield that's at least near the sideline and get rid of that ball. Right here you see him flushed out of the pocket by that Wayzata defense, and see if he can get his eyes up and try to get the ball upfield. If not, make sure you go down and protect that leg.
Jimmy Sharp with the tackle for the Trojans. Loss of 7. Long count by Gaither. And to the 25-yard line, Chris Hickey picks up a few for the Raiders.
And a nice run right there by Chris Hickey, just trying to keep the Wayzata offense honest, or Wayzata defense honest, and you hope that you can pop one up in there and have a big run right there. Not a whole lot of yards, but it's something that you got to do to keep the defense honest.
Second down, or third down and 13. Springer last week, 13 for 22, 294 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he threw to 6 different receivers. To the sideline, picked off! Mark Isaacson with the interception for the Trojans.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to find Justin Claiborne on the sideline, and Mark Isaacson, the backup strong safety, stepped in front of it because that ball hung out there just a little bit too long. And when you leave it out there to hang too long, it's like he does. He's got a whip of an arm, but that ball goes thrown a little bit too far underneath. And unfortunately, Robbie Lampert couldn't come up with it. Only thrown 8 picks so far this season, 19 touchdowns for Joey Springer. So that's something he's not done very commonly. But in a state championship game, the best players are out there, and they came up with that pick right there. Nice play.
Isaacson playing without an ACL. He's going to have surgery as soon as the football season ends. Comes up with a big interception for the Trojans. Here's Miller. And he weaves his way around the left side to the 33.
Well, that play looked like it was going to be a sweep, but I tell you, Miller does such a good job right there getting to the perimeter. Then he doesn't see anything he likes, but he cuts it up, and he's able to pick up about 5 yards when it really looked like there was nothing there at all. Very smart runner.
There's Mark Isaacson. And the Trojans have had to juggle their secondary a little bit because of an injury on Wednesday. We'll try to fill in the blanks for you a little bit later on. Gaither. Complete. Wide open, it's Tommy Becker. And he takes it across midfield to the Cretin-Derham Hall 46.
Well, that's the linebacker here so much about Tommy Becker. About 6'2", 240 pounds, a big guy like that. But in the big games, they do the rollout right there, but they throw the ball underneath to him. But in big games, your big guys got to play both ways sometimes. And right there, a big play by Becker.
So another Trojan first down. Becker will sit one out. Miller surging forward across the 40. He's close to another Trojan first down.
Well, not only is Becker surging forward, but that entire offensive line is doing a good job. Dominic Krasowski is able to bring him down, but not until Adam Hagedis and Eric and Tyler Illicain do a good job of clearing the way.
Hall and Wayzata in the final football game of Prep Bowl 2005. And after the first quarter, it's Wayzata up 7-0. The second quarter is brought to you by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Along with Darrell Thompson, Dick Bramer. Here at the Dome, we had a whale of a 4A championship game, and now Wayzata leading 7-0 with the football second and short. Gaither drops back deep over everybody's head. The ball landing in the end zone, and the closest receiver was at the 10.
It looked like they were trying to hit Ben Vanderhayden. He was locked up against Kim Royston over on the left, and Ben Gaither just threw it up there, and the only person that actually had an opportunity to get that one was Kim Royston. And he's a nice defensive back, although he did get taken on that last one, but looks like he's committed to go to Wisconsin. Play a little football for, the new coach here, Barry Alvarez, retired.
It'll be 3rd and 2. Brad Anderson telling me the other day that early on it was the defense that carried this Wayzata team, but now the offense has started to click. They're 2 for 3 in 3rd down conversions here in this first half. And that'll be another 3rd down conversion, and no surprise who got the ball. Joey Miller.
Joey Miller is an excellent north-south runner right there. Didn't see anything he liked to the outside right there, but he's not messing around too much at outside. Gets his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage and just lacing it up in there. He just finds the holes in the alleys right there, and he's able to pick up nice yards.
So 1st and 10 as the Trojans work the ball into Raider territory, and an official's timeout again. We've got an equipment malfunction somewhere on the.
Looks like they're trying to fix a helmet of someone down there. The official's actually working on it himself, which is a little bit different.
Brad Anderson, he went to Wayzata, then the University of Minnesota, Augsburg. And again, his 7th year as head coach of the Trojans. Pass completed. It's Klein, or Daniel Flomo, I should say. Flomo makes the catch.
Yeah, Frediger on the tackle, and Flomo, the nifty back that doesn't get much of an opportunity to play, but when he does, he's able to pick up quite a few yards, and right there gets about 9 yards on 1st down. They like this little bubble screen out here to Flomo because he's pretty nifty with his feet on the perimeter and hard to bring down.
Pickup of 9. It'll be 2nd down and 1. Flomo out. Miller for the 1st down. And to the 22-yard line.
Robbie Punch and Miller running into each other again. I tell you, Joey Miller does not have very much concern about his body. He just sails up in there. He says, if I see a crease, I'm going to hit it. I'm not worried about my ribs, my back, my knees, or anything like that. But this is a tough kid. Just sees the seam that he likes up in there. He's able to go in there and make the plays.
So the Trojans are driving. About a minute into this 2nd quarter. Pass complete to Jacob Bogle, excuse me.
And a nice tackle in there by Matt McQuillan, because if Matt McQuillan doesn't make this tackle, Jake's going to take this ball all the way to the house. He's already got 1 touchdown, but McQuillan, a good job of bringing him down out there on his own.
Bogle with the catch and a pickup of about 5 yards. Close to another 1st down. This is Alex Hauk running off right tackle, taking it to about the 11 or 12-yard line.
Well, that's one thing that Wayzata does on offense. They give you that line of scrimmage. You can really see that. They're dominant up front. It looks like they're bringing Carufel out of the game, Cretin, that is, bringing in their other defensive tackle, trying to see if they can change things up a little bit. Maybe Willie Wickstrom will be able to be a little bit more successful, because they are dominating Wayzata, that is, in the trenches right now.
And again, Wayzata playing Cretin-Derham Hall very early in the season, 37-19. The game went to Wayzata. And it's a 1st down for the Trojans. Miller hit at the line of scrimmage, and he leans forward to about the 10 for a gain of 1 or 2 yards. Big stand here for Cretin-Derham Hall. Now they've got plenty of offense, and 14-0 is not a death sentence for them by any means, but just the way that the Trojans rather, have started to move the ball on this Raider defense.
Yeah, you're right. It's almost methodic. You know, Lance Bonner able to bring him down right there, and Joey Miller didn't get a lot there on 1st down, but it seems like they're just continue to start this body blow after body blow, and I think it's something that Cretin is going to have to pay attention to, and they need to stop these people.
Raiders defense has been on the field a lot here, and now the Trojans call a timeout. This will be the 11th play of this drive. 9:43 left in the half, and the only points up on the board are Wayzata's. Wayzata fans think that they're number one. It's time for our Dairy Queen fan cam.
Well, so far they are number one in this game. They're pretty dominant from Muchtown in their strong drive right here.
2nd down and 8. Gaither fakes to Miller, then comes back to him with a pass. To the goal line. Another 1st down for the Trojans, and they're on the doorstep.
Yeah, and that was a great play right there by Ben Gaither to fake that ball on the front side to Joy Miller. And Joy Miller goes out there into the flat, and then he catches this ball right here. And it really does look like he's got him dead to rights. Lance Bonner, a nice linebacker, but if it's not for Willie Wickstrom coming from the inside, Joey Miller's going to score.
Lost his helmet on the play. 1st and goal. Touchdown.
Yeah, Wayzata just exerting their strength right here in the second half. I mean, in the first period, taking all the wind out of the sails of Cretin-Derham Hall. They don't know exactly what's going on right here, but Wayzata totally dominant right here in the first period.
Jimmy Sharp taking it over from a yard out, and it's 13-0. Extra point is good. So Fonhorst 2 for 2. And Jimmy Sharp, defensive lineman, has to move into the backfield, and he gets a touchdown on the prep bowl.
A little bit different. I wasn't looking for Jimmy Sharp on my flip chart, but Jimmy got in there. Good hard running by Jimmy Sharp. You can see it. He just hits the seam, gets those shoulders down, and carries the Cretin-Derham Hall defense into the end zone. Cretin has got to come up with something as far as an attack here and get some points on the board if they're going to get back in the game. Just nice, solid, hard running right there.
So it's 14-0 Wayzata. And Fonhorst will kick it off.
And Cretin really owning them at that line of scrimmage and giving Jimmy Sharp that line of scrimmage and good strong run to get in there. But Cretin's going to have to do some things at that line of scrimmage if they're going to get back in this game.
Claiborne at the 7. We'll have a chance here from the 10. Go. At the 23-yard line, met head on, coming in for Wayzata to make the hit.
Nice
Joey
kickoff.
Ganglehoff.
Yeah, great tackle right there by Ganglehoff, making the play, throwing that ball, throwing his body in there and bringing them down for hardly no gain at all. That Wayzata offense and special teams is getting jacked up right now. I think almost the entire congregation is dressed for Wayzata. They have more people on the sideline than I've ever seen.
So with 9:13 left in the second quarter, the Raiders need to get something going offensively here. Springer out, and the handoff to Royston for a short gain. And it's the backup quarterback, John Nance, taking snaps here. Now Springer comes off the sideline.
Well, maybe Springer needed to get something adjusted on the sideline at the last second, and it's not a bad idea to get Kim Royston in the game. He's coming in this game with 11 rushes for 339 yards, averaging about 30 yards per carry. So obviously he doesn't get very many runs, but the runs he has had have been big ones.
Yards have been very tough to get for the Raiders, particularly on the ground. Springer sets, fires, incomplete.
Kyle Moore, that was another nice pass right there by Joe Springer. He threw that ball a missile right in there, right into Kyle Moore's hands, and unfortunately Kyle Moore couldn't come down with the leg. He was trying to run before he caught that ball.
Springer kind of side-arming it there, but right on target.
Yeah, it comes out like a whip almost, though. He's got a strong arm.
3rd down and 8. Royston in motion. Fumbled snap and the ball on the ground. At the 25, who's got it?
White rice, white rice, white rice. Hey.
Yeah, it looked like Joe Springer recovered that fumble. Things just not going the white way for Cretin right now. So you look at that ball, he just tried to pull away from the center just a little bit too quick right there and fumbled that ball.
Spencer will kick again for the Raiders, with Miller backing up inside his 40.
Get such good kick.
And again, Miller fielding a low kick at the 39. Steps out of one tackle. And ends up returning the punt about 5 yards. Good field position for Wayzata again. They're up 14-0. 7:38 left in the first half. We're back on 45 on both sides of the ball. This game so far, Daryl's gone all Wayzata's way.
Oh, Wayzata's got things dialed in. They've looked at that Cretin-Derham Hall defense and figured out how to exploit it, and so far everything they've tried has worked.
1st and 10. And Miller weaves his way across midfield and gets very close to a first down. We'll see where they mark it. Dick Bramer and Daryl Thompson for the final game of 6 here on 45.
And Broderick Binns on the tackle right there. 87 tackles coming into this game, and that was someone that Mike Scanlon felt really good about, someone that was underappreciated coming into this game. And you can see just solid blocking up front, allowing Joey Miller just to go and weave his way through that Cretin defense.
Their hands off to Hauk for a short gain across the 45. And again, Binns might have come up with the biggest defensive play of the semifinal round with his great strip and fumble recovery in the Eden Prairie game.
Yeah, and they're just running straight at this Cretin-Derham Hall defense, and I really think that the battle's being won in the trenches, not allowing anything to happen, and they're getting off into that second level and blocking some of those linebackers too.
2nd and 8. Flomo in motion. And I'll say this about Miller, and we saw it last week too. He does not have, or doesn't seem to have, a lot of wide open holes to run through. We've seen him make a lot of cuts. Not say nothing about the offensive line for Wayzata, but this guy just seems to be a very creative running back and finds his own hole.
Well, I think he's decisive. That's what I would say, is if he doesn't see what he likes somewhere else, he's going to go immediately, and he's going to live with that decision, which is a good way. It's a lot safer to run as a running back than making 2 or 3 decisions.
Almost intercepted at the 45. An acrobatic attempt. Fred Arger almost picked it off.
And that's really what Cretin-Derham Hall needed. They could have used an interception like that, but all that was said, they did need to stop Cretin. They have not stopped Wayzata this afternoon so far. For a key 3rd down play right there was for them to knock that ball down, get their punt team out there, punt return, and see if they can get something mounted on offense.
Beautiful spiral toward the corner. Fumbled and eventually picked up at the 3 and run up to the 18. Nice return from Matt McQuillan. A near turnover for the Raiders, but now they've got the football. We'll see if they can do something with it late in the 2nd quarter. We're back on 45. The Raider, hoping that the Raiders can get something going offensively here. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. They've got it at the 18-yard line. Incomplete. Pass intended to the far sideline, Michael Floyd.
Well, Michael Floyd is someone that the Cretin offense, or in their coaches, feel like is probably the best athlete on the field. He's just a sophomore, so he doesn't get that many carries, but he's had some key touchdowns in the last game. So it looked like, Springer saw him out there, but he's unable to get it to him. He probably lost a little bit of confidence after some of those, after that interception.
Jeff Wolf with pretty good coverage for the Trojans. It's 2nd and 10. This is Nance at quarterback. Heaves it to a wide open man at midfield. Michael Floyd cutting across the 25. Touchdown, Raiders.
That was a kind of wild looking play, to be honest with you, right there. I didn't even know Nance was in the game right there. He gets the ball, they fake the motion to the right and to the left with the play action, and then it looks like, you know, he's going to get sacked. In the backfield, he finds Michael Floyd as he's getting nailed, throws a ball. It looks almost like a Hail Mary, who's standing with Michael Floyd wide open, makes some nice cuts, and uses his speed to get to the end zone. At the end of this play, we just happened to talk about Michael Floyd and how big they thought he was a Division I prospect, and right there he shows why he is.
Michael Kempe to try the extra point. And the Raiders get their big play, but it's not Joe Springer, it's John Nance, who heaves an 82-yard touchdown pass to Michael Floyd to get the Raiders on the board.
Yeah, you can take another look at it from behind the play right here. We see that Nance is looking around all over the place, and then he heaves that ball to Michael Floyd, who catches it in his hands and makes some nifty moves at the end of this run. That cutback and then his speed to the end zone right here brings the Cretin-Derham Hall Raiders right back in this game.
Ben Spencer will kick it away now for the Raiders. Kempe doing the point kicking, and Spencer the place kicking. Joey Miller retreats inside his 10 to return the kick. Big play for the Raiders, and they needed one, frankly.
They sure did. Momentum was on Wayzata's side. They were winning the battle in the trenches and everywhere else. So for them to get a little bit of momentum and actually have a stop on defense, force them to punt and have their offense score, that's a big deal for Cretin.
Spencer booms it. And Miller watches it land 7 yards back. It'll be a touchback. This is what we've seen from Ben Spencer and what we've been told. Now there's a flag on the play. It looks like the Raiders might have been offside on the kickoff.
I think there's a personal foul on Wayzata.
Is that right?
Yes, the kicker was standing there kind of lonely, and he got sailed into by number 98.
Yes. And the penalty will take the ball inside the 20. You could see Spencer visibly and justifiably upset, but the flag was thrown right at the 40.
Yeah, that's a borderline cheap shot right there. You just don't usually see that very often.
And the officials talked this over.
We'll take one more look at the touchdown, and it didn't look like Nance had much of anything going at all on that play. And he looks back right at the last second, sees his receiver Michael Floyd at the end, and Michael Floyd again makes that cut at the end of the play using his speed to get to the end zone, getting the momentum back on Cretin-Derham Hall's side.
Now, discussion with Mike Scanlon along the Cretin-Derham Hall sideline, I believe. About how to enforce this penalty. If it's half the distance to the goal, or whether it simply would mean a re-kick, I would guess. But now the Trojans are lined up.
It doesn't look like anyone's too sure of exactly what's going on down there.
A personal foul, a blow to the head. And I think the confusion has not subsided here.
It's at number 96. Blake Bergeson hitting the kicker. And are we going to get a re-kick?
And apparently the penalty enforced will simply mean a re-kick from a guy who, from the 40, kicked it 7 yards deep in the end zone. So that hardly, I mean, what penalty is there in that?
Well, that sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes the rules work out for the person who had the penalty against him.
Well, this is peculiar. Here's a kicker who got leveled after having kicked the ball 7 yards deep into the end zone, and now he'll get a re-kick from a closer distance.
We'll see what Blake Bergeson does this time. Last time he drew a beeline for the kicker and put his shoulder pad right in Ben Spencer's chest. We'll see if he does something a little bit different this time. I'd imagine they'll put a normal block on this time. Well, they're going to kick from the 55-yard line. 45-yard line.
Well, this just seems peculiar to me.
It is confusing.
Now, you may allow the Raiders to try to set up perhaps an onside kick. Spencer says, I wanted to kick one through the goalpost and into the seats on a kickoff. And that was just, it turned out to be kind of a free shot and really no penalty at all for Wayzata.
Not much, especially when you consider I think the ball came out to about the 20-yard line. So all that hubbub really for nothing on that play.
The penalty didn't fit the crime, if you will.
No, it would have seemed like they would have backed it up a little bit, but doesn't look like it bothered Blake Bergeson too much.
So Wayzata will take the ball 1st and 10 from the 20, and the pitch to Miller. And a gain of 2, maybe 3 yards.
Miller's a hard running guy, runs into Fred Agier on that play right there. But I tell you, it looks like the game plan for Wayzata is to continue to pound the ball into the Cretin defense and take the time off the clock, especially now that they got a little bit of a lead, and see if they can get that momentum back. I'd imagine they're still going to take some shots downfield.
2nd and 7. Miller again, a 1st down. Driving his legs forward all the way out near the 40-yard line.
Look, they got a fumble on that play, but what that was good, hard running by Joey Miller on that play. You see him hit the ball up in there, and he is extremely decisive. When he makes a decision, he sticks with it. There you can see the great leg drive at the end of that play, because he's carrying the Cretin-Derham Hall defense at the end of that play. This is a kid to spend some time working out in the offseason with that nice leg drive.
What offseason? He's a football player and he's a hockey player.
Well, he's
there is
working
no
out.
offseason. 16 carries, 80 yards so far for Joey Miller. 19th carry, and he breaks it outside. Out of bounds at the 33. Kim Royston finally brought him down.
And another nice run.
Down.
Right here by Joey Miller. I think it's going to be a personal foul in the backfield. A couple players are pushing each other around, but not take away from Joey Miller in that run. He is the workhorse this afternoon for Wayzata.
And a personal foul against Cretin-Derham Hall, and I believe a double personal foul, and they've negated each other, so the play will stand. Things are getting a little chippy here ever since the collision with the kicker a few moments ago.
I think there was a face mask
at the end on the tackle.
Yes. And then the personal foul in the backfield.
A 30-yard run for Miller, and it's 1st and 10 from the 31. .4:17 left. Gaither looks deep to the corner. Touchdown!
We're going right at Kim Royston.
Jeff Wolf with the touchdown.
Like Matt McQuillan was a corner on that play right there.
And Ben Gaither threw that ball up to him. His receiver went up and got that ball right there. Another big play for Wayzata. For 13, Jeff Wolf coming down with the play, coming down with the ball.
So the Trojans answer and answer quickly. With Fonhorst down the field looking for his third extra point. Up and good. So the Raiders got their big play to get back in the game at 14-7, and just like that, the Trojans come right back down the field.
We're taking a look at it, but you got to pay attention to that play action. That sucks the linebackers up on the inside. Jeff Wolf just goes up and catches that ball over Matt McQuillan, the defensive back from Cretin. Just when you thought that Cretin-Derham Hall had some momentum back on their side, and they slowed down that Wayzata. They hadn't slowed down that offense too much, but Joey Miller's doing a fabulous job of running that ball, taking the wind out of the sails of Cretin. And this, when they think that you're going to hand the ball to one more time, they fake that play action up on the inside and hit Jeff Wolf down the sideline. Great catch.
Good numbers for Gaither so far. And with 4:14 left, now the Raiders will try to answer again. Hitting at the 19. And fielded by Claiborne. And again, away from the tackle, some hard hitting. And these two teams who played each other during the regular season being reacquainted here in the state championship game. And the Raiders will start from the 28. He's teaching his family the lessons of life. What could be funnier? Catch Damon Wyans and My Wife and Kids every weekday at 5, right here on 45 television with variety.
I need a show like that.
What, variety?
My Wife and Kids.
Oh. Springer back in the game, nearly stumbles. In fact, he does as he backs away from center, keeps his feet, and gains about 5 yards. So Mike Scanlon alternating quarterbacks here. Springer.
Well, every time Springer runs the ball, it makes me just a little bit nervous because he's not the most healthy guy out there. He hurt his finger earlier this year. He's got a sprained knee, a big fat knee brace on his leg. So it'd be his best interest usually to get down, but he's been tough when he has run the ball.
So Nance back in there, working from the shotgun. Keeping a pitch to the outside. Hickey across midfield. Faked the handoff inside, pitched it to the outside, and Hickey takes it for a first down.
And you would think with Nance in the game, they're going to run the ball. He does a good job of faking the ball on the inside to Royce, and then on the outside, Hickey does a great job of using his speed and picking up a first down, seeing if he can take some wind out of the sails out of that Wayzata defense and put some more points on the board.
First down rushing for the Raiders, and you could see Royston coming through. That's such a good fake. I think Royston thought he had the football.
It looked like he really put it in his belly.
Springer back in the game for the Raiders. From the 46. Quick slant across the middle. And the ball coming free. Picked up by the Trojans, and they've got the football.
Jamal Zolkoffer, is that who came up with the ball right there?
Jamal Zolkoffer came up with the football after the reception and the fumble.
That's too bad. Collifer got that ball, and it looked like he was able to almost pick up a first down, and that ball got ripped out at the end of that play by Zolkoffer. I don't know if his knee was down or not, but looks like it's Wayzata ball going the other way.
Boy, it's hard to tell from that replay. The bottom line is there is no instant replay review.
No, nice heads-up play by Zolkoffer, too.
And so the Raiders driving, but now a turnover, and Zolkoffer comes up with a big recovery. Gaither throws it. Oh, what a catch! What a catch! The receiver was Ben Vanderheiden, and he had to reach behind him running upfield. He had to slam on the brakes and put it in reverse.
That is a great catch right there. Not a great throw, but I tell you, when you can adjust and catch the ball like that and pick up first downs pick up 5 yards on first down, things are going your way, and they certainly are going Wayzata's way so far tonight.
Pick up of 5, clock running, 2:40 left. Miller across midfield, but again the extra yards for the first down. What a determined running back. Joey Miller got the first down on a second effort.
Great second effort right there. That's exactly what that is. Joey Miller picks his way through there, but then at the end of this run, when you think that it'd be over, and it would be for most running backs, he lunges forward and picks up about 3 more yards.
So a first down for the Trojans. 2:20 and counting. Miller again, feeling his way along the line and then knifing through for a pickup of about 4 or 5 yards.
And Ajer bringing down Miller on that play. And again, you look at it, and when you watch Miller run, he's not really like an exciting runner, but he does make good decisions. He's patient, and when he sees what he likes, he takes it. Sometimes it's full speed, sometimes it's 3/4 speed, but again, they are picking up positive yards on first down and taking time off the clock.
What'd you call him before? Creative?
Decisive. I think
decisive.
He's
how
decisive.
How about durable? 19 carries in the first half for 122 yards. And there's carry number 20 across the 40, a short gain of a yard or 2.
Well, he's the workhorse. They got some other backs that are going to get a little bit of work. Ben Zwebar and Alex Hauk, you know, they've got carries too, and I imagine they'll get an opportunity in the second half. But this is state championship, and he's a senior, so he is going to get his work in tonight, and I'm sure he's going to enjoy every minute of it. He didn't look too tired. When he got up off the ground, he was howling over there at the bench like, you know, feed me, feed me. Sometimes you feel good.
3rd and 5, just over a minute to play in the first half. And a timeout called by the Trojans. Brad Anderson calling the timeout. Well, this Wayzata team, very, very impressive.
And Brad Anderson out there talking to his team, explaining something, probably tell them that, you know, this is it. This is an opportunity that you have to really put this team away. If we can score before the end of the half, you'll really take the wind out of the sails of this Cretin team.
Cretin-Derham Hall getting into the quarterfinal round for the 16th straight year. Haven't been to this game since the 2000 game when they were runners-up, first champions in 1999. But look at that, some great programs in Cretin-Derham Hall, more than any other high school team in the state of Minnesota, the most state appearances.
One of our broadcast partners earlier today, Corbin Messina.
Yeah.
Cretin-Derham Hall graduate.
Well, Mike Scanlon, longtime assistant, taking over the head coaching job. Here he's an assistant for Cretin-Derham Hall, also played for Cretin-Derham Hall, an assistant for 19 years. Rich Kallick retiring from football after last season. Fumble on the snap, and Gaither's wrapped up at the 49.
Nice break right there for Cretin. The Gaithers actually bobbled that ball at the line of scrimmage and stepped backwards a little bit. And too bad, he should have probably fell on that thing right away. It was a pretty dangerous play. It looked like Tyler Johnson got in there on that play to bring him down along with Robbie Punch.
Now Cretin-Derham Hall calling the timeout. The loss on the play will force a punt. And with 55 seconds left, Cretin-Derham Hall calling a timeout. They've still got 2 left.
And you hate that as a quarterback, or as a coach. You know, Brad Anderson went out there, he called the play, and it might have been just too many things for Ben to think about, and he bobbled that ball because he's thinking about, oh, I'm going to throw it to this guy, I'm going to throw it to that guy, and then if this doesn't work, I'm going to do this. But you got to remember to hang on the ball. That's your number one responsibility. And right now they got a 4th down situation. They got to kick the ball to a Cretin team that has had some success on offense, although they have not mounted a whole lot so far tonight.
Not much offensively for Mike Scanlon to be too enthused about here at halftime. Maybe the special teams can come up with a big play. McQuillan, the deep man to receive the punt. David Anderson, the punter for the Trojans. And a punt sailing out of bounds at the 22-yard line. 49 seconds left, and we'll see how aggressive the Raiders play this year with a couple of timeouts and Springer coming into the game. A 28-yard punt.
I would think they'd be pretty aggressive in this situation. They've been aggressive earlier in this game, but I don't think Mike Scanlon is a conservative coach. They got Joey Springer back in the game, 19 TDs so far this season. I'd imagine we'll see the ball in the air and start looking for Michael Floyd.
Floyd split to the right. Caught the big touchdown pass a few moments ago. 4 wide receivers in there for the Raiders. Springer dumps it. Intercepted by the Trojans. A big interception, a diving picked off by DJ Luby.
Outstanding catch by DJ Luby right there. I'll tell you, Springer stared down his receiver just a little bit too much right there. Felt that pressure coming from Jimmy Sharp on the inside. Threw that ball, thought he was going to throw it to his receiver, and Luby, the outstanding catch right there. Oh, it looked like a catch. Well, we're going to take another look at it, but they're not going to take another look at it. But it looked like a great catch by Luby. He hopped up confidently, and confidence does a lot. It worked in that case.
Wow.
Because he didn't catch that ball.
No, he did not. Gaither going deep to the corner, trying to take advantage. Royston picks it off for Cretin-Derham Hall. Cam Royston on the corner picked it off, and the Raiders will get the ball back with 36 seconds left.
Kim Royston got tired of getting picked on. They've thrown at him in the first half, and they were successful. They tried again with Jake Bogle, and Kim Royston goes up and catches that ball right there. That was a touchdown earlier in the game on the slant right there. Kim Royston gets one back for Cretin. I'd imagine that Cretin will go after it again. Great play by Kim Royston.
Again, the Raiders have the 2 timeouts, but now just 36 seconds left. And it's John Nance in there at quarterback. J.D. Solomon also in there as a running back. Swing pass, Hickey to the 21-22 yard line down there, and that might be the last play of the half.
It might be. It looks like Cretin's kind of hustling, so they might run one more play. They thought that they'd try something a little bit tricky right there, but it didn't work on that play.
Call a timeout, so with 16 seconds left, Mike Scanlon will go after it here.
And he might as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kim Royston come back into the game and get some speed out there along with Michael Floyd, maybe another side, and they can try to take advantage of and see if they can get the ball downfield and get some points on the board here.
They got off to a little bit of a sluggish start against Eden Prairie. Didn't score in the first quarter, but then 14 points in each of the final 3 quarters. And did it impressively. This is an offense that, when it's clicking, can put points up in a hurry. It's just that so far the Wayzata defense has stifled them.
Wayzata defense has done a really good job. You can see that looks like Michael Floyd is in the game. See if Royston's over there. No, he's not on the other side, so it'll be interesting to see what they run right here. Was that in a prevent defense?
Nance tried to throw it deeply inside the 40-yard line. Pass incomplete. Robert Lambert down there, well covered.
Well, you can see why Nance is in the game in this situation. You've got to be flexible and able to get away from that defensive line, and that Wayzata defense line doing a good job putting pressure on Nance right there, on Nance, and forcing him to throw this ball into double coverage, and Lampert's unable to come down with it. But that's a tough ball, especially when they got the super duper prevent defense in.
8 seconds left. Nance steps up. It's as far as he can throw it. Caught at the 28-yard line to end the half. A leaping grab by Floyd. He and Nance have clicked a couple of times on deep routes, but this one simply runs out the clock, with Wayzata leading 21-7.
Well, you can see why they like Michael Floyd so much, and Nance does a great job of getting out of the pocket. He throws a missile actually right here, and Floyd does a great job of adjusting, using his hands, and coming down with that ball right there.
Let's go down to the field now, and Leah.
All right, Coach, a wild physical first half. What do you do to get into it in the second half?
Well, how about not turn the ball over? We've been killing ourselves. we haven't been helping our defense. I'm really disappointed in the way we're playing on offense.
Best of luck to you in the second half.
Thanks a lot. We'll need it.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Well, Mike Scanlon not very happy with how the first 24 minutes played out. He'll head to the locker room down by 14, and we'll come back to the Dome for halftime of the 5A title game in a moment.
Wayzata at halftime leads Cretin-Derham Hall 21-7 as they play towards a Class 5A champion. Rod Simons, Jim Bonhorse with you. And as we look at this game, it's strikingly similar to the first time they played, where Wayzata took a lead in the first half with a steel fist.
Exactly. And then here are some of the highlights as well. Wayzata did get the lead at first, and then they let Cretin-Derham Hall in a little bit, but then they pulled away later on. And Wayzata's playing very, very well. Here's a great pass by Nance. And
one of their only big plays.
Absolutely. Cretin-Derham Hall does have the ability to strike quickly, so they're not out of this game whatsoever.
And I would think that that's the one thing that they're going to guard against, is a letdown in the second half after playing them before. Hey, standing by on the field right now is Leah B. Olson with the coach. Go, Lee.
Coach, momentum goes your way in the first half. What do you say to the guys in the second half to get through this?
Well, I was really pleased with how our defense played that first half. They're a very explosive ball club, and we're trying to keep their receivers in front of us for the most part. I just said, championships are won on defense and being able to run the ball, so that's what we're going to emphasize this half.
Best of luck to you in the second half.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's take it up to Dick and Daryl.
Thank you, Leah. Yeah, they did play defense, and they did run the ball in that first half. The rushing yards for the two teams, a really lopsided edge in favor of Wayzata. 130 rushing yards to just 23 for the Raiders. Joey Miller, a big part of that, of course. He picked up 123 of the rushing yards for the Trojans.
Yeah, and just how successful that Wayzata was inside the red zone. 2 for 2. When you look at Joey Springer, what he was able to accomplish, unfortunately, in the first half, he had 12 attempts, only 3 completions and 2 interceptions. Nance, other than that huge play down the sideline to Flood, was not very successful either. He only had 4 attempts. He had 3 completions and 1 touchdown. So Cretin's got to get things rolling here. They're going to go out on defense here to start out the second half, and hopefully they'll be able to mount some attack and to keep people awake here for the last hour and a half of this game.
As Brad Anderson said, though, this Raider offense can be ignited quickly and run off a flurry of points. So that's the concern from the Wayzata standpoint. We welcome all of you watching us around the state of Minnesota. Prep Bowl 2005, and a special tip of the cap to a lot of technical people and production people who have been here since 6 this morning.
Yeah, that takes a lot. It takes a lot of coffee. We were lucky enough to find a very nice lady that helped us out when we got a little snack before the game. And
we're just doing the last 2 games.
Oh, this is nothing. This
guys
is
in
5 or 6 hours.
Men and women involved in this production. A full day of television, a full day of football since 6 this morning, and they've done an outstanding job. Brad Anderson. Wayzata, by the way, has never won a football championship, so here they are, 24 minutes away from doing something the school's never done before. They got to this game a year ago, lost to Minnetonka. The Raiders will kick things off here to start the second half. And it's Joey Miller, who's done a little bit of everything for this Wayzata team offensively all year long.
He's done a lot of everything for Wayzata so far tonight. He's returning punts, and he had 20 carries for 123 yards in the first half.
Spencer gives it a ride. And Miller watches it land, this time 7-8 yards back. Remember the last time that Spencer kicked off from his 40, he got leveled. And he had a little glare toward the Wayzata sideline as he booted that one again almost to the end line. 26,692 the paid attendance here today. With football starting a little after 8 o'clock and running almost certainly past midnight.
Yeah, we're going to play football until midnight, but that's a tradition for State High School. I think something people have grown to enjoy.
Miller gets the first second half carry. Gaither handing it off, and Miller taking it out to the 24-yard line.
And again, running through tackles. Joey Miller in the first half had 123 yards. You'd think they'd want to put someone else in there, but they don't need to. He runs right through Robbie Bunch's arms, and Fred Agier, the tackle, 101 tackles coming in this game, is the person who ends up bringing him down.
As good as this Wayzata offense is, they were shut down and out by Eden Prairie earlier this year. Gaither swings it out to the near side. Zach Bullock with the reception. And he picks up the Wayzata first down.
Yeah, Zach Olak on the reception right there. A lot of pressure on the quarterback, and when you do have that much pressure, you got to make sure that someone's not slipping on a little screen right there, and Zach sneaks out on the screen right there and is able to pick up a lot of yards. Another first down for Wayzata.
Give you some idea how good this Cretin-Derham Hall team is. They ran up 42 points against a Eden Prairie team that earlier this year shut out Wayzata. So there's still hope for the Raiders if they can get their hands on the ball and get something going offensively. Barreling forward, it's Miller again across the 35 to about the 38.
And Brandon Kelly and Tyler Johnson on the tackle right there, but still Wayzata picking up 5 yards on first down, rotating fresh troops in there. And we were kind of joking, but Wayzata dressed 120 kids tonight for this game, so I don't imagine if they do really get tired, they got some fresh troops on the sideline.
Second down and 6. Miller with another Wayzata first down, and they're just jamming the ball down the field, picking up first down after first down.
Forced to be tackled by the secondary right there. They don't give him a lot of room, but they do give him those seams. Matt McQuillan, the secondary, bringing him down along with Brandon Kelly, the free safety.
You and I both talked to Brad Anderson earlier in the week, and he mentioned to me, as he did to you, that trip to Menominee, Michigan was a road trip that actually brought the team together. Now, they won that game 41-20. I don't think it was so much the win that brought the team together. It was travel time and hotel time and all that. But it's not like they were scattered, in 10 different directions as a team. Anyway, my goodness, in the 2 games prior to that, they won 2 games by a combined score of 89-7.
No, they had things rolling. The first 2 games, 35-14 against Minnetonka, and Cretin 37-19, and then they go up to the UP and beat that team Marshfield 28-0. But I mean, they really felt like that's what brought them together, and sometimes sitting next to somebody that long on a bus or a plane can do it.
Gaither looking deep, incomplete. Pass falling to the 30-yard line.
And that ball was well defended by Matt McQuillan right there of Cretin-Derham Hall, but it really does look like that Wayzata just really can't do anything wrong in this game. Matt McQuillan's there, and he's able to bat that ball down, but Wayzata seem to be doing everything they want, operating at will so far tonight.
Jeff Wolf, the intended target. Now 3rd down and 11. Well, this Cretin-Derham Hall defense needs to come up with a big play here, a stop here, and get the ball back to the offense. Gaither swings it to the near side, and Miller tries to one-hand it but can't. It'll be 4th and 11. And a Trojan punt coming up.
And surprising that they would get away from what they were so successful with. They've been running the ball all night at their will, doing exactly what they wanted to do. In that last play, they went deep. There were another little screen right here, and really all they have been doing and been really successful with is hand the ball off to Joey Miller and letting him lace the ball up inside there and let the offense do their work.
Anderson to punt, McQuillan back to return it. Beautiful kick. McQuillan retreating inside the 10. Breaking through. McQuillan along the sideline. Down at the 29-yard line. Matt McQuillan, a 5'9" junior, scampers up the sideline and gets the Raiders in great field position. Down 2 touchdowns. The offense will get the ball in great field position with 9:18 left in the 3rd quarter. This 3rd quarter brought to you by the Minnesota Wild. Cretin-Derham Hall getting a big play from the special team, specifically Matt McQuillan. 3 punt returns for 86 yards. And a big one here. And the Raiders set up shop inside the 30. Springer. Deep. Caught at the 8-yard line, and it's McQuillan. Touchdown!
How about that? You know, we talked about Wayzata. Maybe they got a little bit too cute in that last drive and got away from what they were successful with, forced to that punt. And then we have that big punt return by McQuillan. Then they throw the ball back again to McQuillan, and he's able to score a touchdown on a big first down play. They bring in Mike Kemp for the kick.
So McQuillan does most of it on a punt return, does the rest on a touchdown reception. And Michael Kempe will try for the extra point. Up and good. Well, Mike Scanlon said going into the locker room he wasn't happy with his offense. One play, 28 yards on the drive, and it's 21-14.
And it looked like a blown coverage right there. Back Wayzata. Now we get back here in this situation. Joe Springer sees something he likes back there. That's his receiver, McQuillan, back there behind the entire Wayzata defense. Somebody in Wayzata must have blown a coverage back there because he's just about wide open on this play. It's a good job of getting to the pylon right here and a good job on the catch, but somebody missed someone on that play.
So Springer gets his touchdown pass. Earlier, Nance threw one. So both Cretin-Derham Hall quarterbacks with a touchdown pass. And the big punt return by McQuillan set things up, and then he finished the drive off with a touchdown catch, and it's 21-14.
That puts Cretin right back in this game, only one touchdown away and a big stop on that last series. I'd imagine that Wayzata is going to get back to what got them here so far in this game, taking time off the clock, and the ball in the hands of Joey Miller.
Spencer. This one will land just a couple of yards deep in the end zone. Another touchback, and the Trojans will get it at the 20. This Wayzata offense very balanced. And they, I don't know, maybe tried to show off a little bit of that balance. They were having such great success running the ball before, and then a couple of passes ended up forcing a punt. With a snap of the fingers, the Raiders got back on the scoreboard.
Well, it's difficult. I think if you've been very, very successful all afternoon doing just about everything that you want to do, not to try to get cute and do some other things, but I'd be surprised if they didn't put the ball back in Joey Harris's hands in this drive.
Gaither will throw. Picked off! Out of bounds at the 2-yard line. An interception for Lance Bonner. And the defense comes up with a big play, and the Raiders are 1 yard away from tying this game up.
Well, I was surprised right there in that drive. I tell you, Ben Gaithers underthrew that ball tremendously. Lance Bonner ran underneath it and almost ran over Ben Gaithers to get a touchdown right there. Great play by Lance Bonner.
So the big plays here early in this third quarter are going Cretin-Derham Hall's way. We've only played 3 minutes of the quarter, and the complexion of this game has dramatically changed just in the last minute.
This is Cretin's biggest quarter of the year. They're 119 to 42 points, and Cretin also has their big package in the game. They got Ethan Ide, Lance Bonner, and some other big guys in there.
Springer at quarterback. No signal yet. To the goal line, and a gain of about a foot. They spot the ball just shy of the goal line.
Well, they brought Bonner in there in motion, and he's unable to move that pile right there, and then the fullback laces it up in there, and he doesn't pick up the first down either, so we're not exactly sure what there, but they weren't able to pick up the first down or touchdown.
Ethan Ide with the carry. In there at the fullback spot. Royston, the tailback. Ide. There's the signal. Touchdown, Raiders. And it's 21-20.
Well, they got right back in this game. Wayzata got away from it, what they're good at, running the ball with Joey Miller. Ethan Ide scoring a touchdown right there, bringing Cretin-Derham Hall right back in this game. You can see the surge of the offensive line and a nice block by Lance Bonner. The other linebacker, Ethan Ide, follows him in there to pick up the touchdown on the 1 yard run.
Stampy to tie it up. And we are tied at 21. Wayzata with a 14-point lead at the half, but a dramatic turnaround in the opening minutes of the third quarter, and it's tied at 21. Well, now wait a minute. Just one day after Thanksgiving. A little too early to think about Christmas. Well, but you probably went Christmas shopping this morning, didn't you?
Not too early for my wife. She was talking about it today.
There's our Dairy Queen fan cam, and we got what looks to be a great finish in the 5A championship game. The Cretin-Derham Hall striking quickly twice here early in the third quarter to even the game at 21. Spencer with the adrenaline coursing through his veins. He booms it back near the goalpost again. And the Trojans will take over again at the 20.
And a nice kick by Spencer. Boy, anytime you got a kicker who can kick that ball out of the end zone, it's a tremendous advantage to your defense. Starting out right there and make that team work for the entire drive right here. We talked a little bit about during the break about Wayzata in that offense. If they're going to get back to getting that ball in Joey Miller's hands, I'd be shocked if they didn't do it in this drive.
Gaither to Miller, and they're waiting for him at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, Darren Yo's on that play, bringing down Joey Miller for really no gain on that play. But that's something that Cretin's got to know too. They know that they want to get the ball back in the hands of the man that was so successful in the first half. Key on him and see if they can make them force him to put the ball in the air.
Second and 10. Pitch to Miller. Gain of 5, maybe 6. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Matt McQuillan really leading the way right here for Cretin-Derham Hall, putting the emotion back in there with that big punt return, the big catch. And then again, really nice running right here by Joey Miller. Gets the outside, puts his shoulder down, able to pick up 5 yards.
Robbie Punch with the tackle. Cretin-Derham Hall. 3rd down and 5. Miller gets the first down, nearly breaks it free as he leans forward to the 38. Had such a great first half, and the lead's evaporated, and if they get a lead in the second half, it's probably going to be with Miller carrying the ball.
Well, I think they're going to go down swing with Miller. He's going to have his hands on the ball for the rest of this game. They know that he's their guy, and he does a great job of weaving through there, finding those seams and picking up yards.
20 carries, 123 yards in the first half alone. To the line of scrimmage, perhaps. First man there for Cretin-Derham Hall was Wiley Wickstrom.
Yeah, Wiley Wickstrom, a nice tackle on that play. Really nice penetration in the backfield, because that's what you need to do, especially as nifty as Joey Miller is. If he sees a seam, he's going to hit it, because I think I was talking about earlier, but he's decisive. When he sees what he likes, he goes right after it.
A loss of a yard on the play. Gaither to the air. Incomplete. Had a man along the far sideline. That was Jeff Wolf. It's incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 11.
Jeff Wolf got locked up over on the left-hand side of the field against Matt McQuillan. Matt McQuillan had good coverage, and if Wolf had been able to come down with that ball, it looked like it actually touched his hands, but he's just unable to catch it. That's a difficult ball to catch, though, when it comes over your head and trying to catch it in your hands.
3rd and 11. The Raider defense is stiffened here in the third quarter. And now Wolf falls down in midfield. He stumbled trying to make his cut. The pass falls incomplete, and there'll be another Trojan punt.
Pressure, nice pressure by that Cretin-Derham Hall defense. They blitz from the outside right there, and it did look like Wolf slipped a little bit on that play. McQuillan had nice coverage on him, but by the time he got his head up, that ball had already sailed over his head. I like that gold shoe that he's got on.
Back to receive the kick. Guy who broke one a moment ago, Matt McQuillan. And the ball hooks right back to him in the middle of the field at the 23. This time out to the 35, 12-yard return. So Cretin-Derham Hall been behind in this game for most of the game. Never had a lead, and now a chance to take the lead. Tied at 21. They get the football with 5:56 left in the third.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I were Cretin-Derham Hall, I'd probably continue and try to be, I would not be conservative. I'd put the ball in the air and try to keep attacking like I had been and try to get more points up on the board and win this game.
Springer, the quarterback. Going deep down the middle. And incomplete, intended for Lambert.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing, trying to hit Robbie Lambert down the sideline. Joey Springer hits him, just doesn't put enough air underneath that ball. Lambert was head down, moving just about as fast as he could, and was smart, didn't reach up until the last possible second, but just not enough air underneath that ball for Lambert to run underneath it.
Nance in the game, now a quarterback for the Raiders. Royston cutting off left tackle. Pushed back as he got to the 37, 38-yard line, just a short gain.
Wayzata's done a good job on Royston because he came into this game with over 300 yards on 11 carries, which is a phenomenal amount for a running back to average, but which typically means he's making big plays, so they know when he's in the game they're typically going to give to him because he's a cornerback and he needs a rest to play defense, especially playing corner.
Raiders 0 for 6 in third down conversions. This a long one. They need 7 yards. Springer back in at quarterback.
Just too much pressure right there by Wayzata. They were all over in the backfield right there. Jimmy Sharp was in there. DJ was in there. Tommy Becker was in there on that play. He forced Joey Springer out of that pocket, making him reach and get up. But I tell you, also nice coverage downfield. Not allowing him having anywhere to pass the ball, and he had to eat that one.
Joey Sinnard was in there as well. So now Miller is back near his 30 to take the Cretin-Derham Hall punt. And again, Miller comes up to field it at the 35. Flag down at midfield. Miller off on the run. He'll take it all the way, but a flag is down at midfield.
And I think we got a clip blocking the back against one of the Cretin people. Looks like Ben Spencer's down kicker got walloped again on that play.
Flag right on midfield. And that'll bring the return back.
Yeah, it will, but I tell you, anytime you have a clip like that, you have a really big run, then a lot of times that clip is actually what did Springer on that play, and that's what happened on that play.
Right there. You can see the block in the back. Might have been another one there. So Wayzata will have the football with 4:10 left in the third quarter. Looks like it's going to be a great finish to the 2005 Prep Bowl. We had a phenomenal game in the 4AA championship, or 4A championship, and now in the 5A championship with 4:10 left in the third quarter, tied at 21. Darrell Thompson, Dick Bramer, bringing you the 5A championship game. Cretin-Derham Hall has tied it here in the third. Gaither going back deep to the sidelines, incomplete, and again the Raiders are trying to regain the lead through the air.
Trying to regain it and trying to have their big linebacker into the game. He came in motion back across the line of scrimmage and ran just a go route down the sideline right there, but Ben Gaither was unable to get that ball even in bounds and give him a chance to catch it.
Pass intended for Tommy Becker. It'll be 2nd and 10. Miller the lone setback. And he gets the handoff. barrels forward across the 40 to the 42, a pickup of about 7.
I can't understand getting away from that. I got a running back that's getting anywhere from 4 to 7 yards per crack, and he's feeling like $1 million. I thought Joey was a little smaller. I asked our spotter. He said he's 5'10", 220 pounds. That's good size for a running back. Fabulous size for a hockey player. So I can see what all the excitement is, but I'd keep giving him the ball until he was wore out and see if I could ride him to a state championship.
3rd and 3. Miller takes the pitch and gets the first down. Spilled as he got to the 45-yard line. And it was Matt McQuillan who got him low and flipped him over, but he fell forward across the 45 for what looks to be a first down.
And he got that all on his own. I tell you, they had him dead to rights in the backfield. Lance Bonner, Robbie Punch had him in the backfield. He makes a nice cut to get upfield. And if it isn't for McQuillan, he's going to take that ball all the way to the end zone.
Miller off left tackle, across midfield, and just that secondary surge that he seems to have. Built so low to the ground, that great leg drive always seems to get him an extra 3-4 yards.
Yeah, he does. He's got great leg drive. He's just a smart, tough running back. You know, he makes his decision, he sticks with it, and he also hangs on to that football. He's taken a lot of licks this afternoon. I haven't seen that ball come out one time.
2nd down and 2. Off to the fullback up the middle. Tyler Johnson gives Miller a bit of a break and picks up another Wayzata first down.
Yeah, you got to give him a break every once in a while, but still stick with the plan. You know, they gave the ball to Zweibar on the inside that time. He picked up just a few yards, but it got him a first down. It sticks with the plan of what Wayzata has been successful so far this afternoon.
See Miller on the sideline. 1st and 10. And off up the middle. This is out.
You know, and I thought we'd see a little bit more of Houck. He came into this game with 100 rushes, 472 yards, and 4 touchdowns this season, and hasn't got much of an opportunity. We've mostly seen Joey Miller, a little bit of Ben Zweibar, but he's another back that they have in their stable.
He's had an injury. He's missed the last 3 games. And Brad Anderson told me the other day he's really only about 75% with a leg injury. Pass completed to the 35-yard line. Vanderheid picks up another first down for Wayzata. 8 different Wayzata Trojans have caught a pass from Gaither today. Well, they're 12 completions, but he spread them out to different men.
Yeah, he has spread them out to different people, and there you see it getting back, using the run to set up the pass versus just passing just to pass, and that is how Wayzata is successful. Right there, nice pass by Ben Gaither and a great catch by Ben Vanderheyden.
1:32 left in the 3rd quarter, and Gaither back to Miller. Now Miller collared and spun down at the 23-yard line.
Fred Agier is bringing him down. I tell you, he's still picking up yards. He is a phenomenal second effort running back.
So a pickup of 4. Got a bit of a breather, a couple of plays off. Now he's back in there with the Trojans approaching the red zone. Flags down. Illegal procedure to the likely call against the Trojans.
And that's not what they need. That can be a drive stopper right there. This team really has some momentum. They're moving the right way. You know, and Cretin really is pulling out all the stops. They've got their big-time recruit, Matt Carufel, in there at that nose position, playing that one technique, and that's someone you really got to pay attention to. Really can bottle up that middle, and looked like they were double-teaming him on that play, which should free up Willie Wickstrom over on the other side.
So now 2nd and 11. Here comes Comes the blitz, inside screen. Great defensive play. Cretin-Derham Hall's Broderick Benz caught up with the screen and made the tackle.
Great defensive plays, putting that mildly. They felt that screen right there. Broderick Benz flattened out and ran down the line of scrimmage, or else Ben Vanderhayden would have had an opportunity to at least run for a first down on that play because they were set up to block that play well. Take a really nice look at that defensive pursuit of Broderick Benz right there, but that was a nice play by Broderick.
3rd and 7. From the Raider 24. And a timeout called, or at the end of the quarter, I beg your pardon. We head to the 4th quarter in the final game today, tied at 21. Cretin-Derham Hall and Wayzata even up at 21. The 4th quarter brought to you by Wells Fargo. The next stage, the biggest plays of the 3rd quarter went Cretin-Derham Hall's way, and as a result of that, they've got this game tied up at 21 with 12 minutes to go in regulation. If you just joined us, perhaps you missed the 4A championship game that went into overtime. Gaither deep to the sideline, incomplete. Right at the goal line, 2 Raiders there defending.
Matt McQuillan, a great job of him coming over the top. They're really doing the best they can to get the ball to Tommy Beckler. Everyone to talk about, he's got 96 tackles, but seems like they're really trying to figure out a way to get him the ball. But McQuillan did a good job. He kind of stared him down. McQuillan came over the top. He's the right cornerback to bat that ball down and not let Becker come down with it.
4th down in a tie game. 7 yards to go, and the Trojans will go for it. Gaither looks right, throws right, incomplete. The pass sailing out of bounds, and the Cretin-Derham Hall Raiders will take over on downs.
Cretin-Derham Hall dropped back in the zone and protected that first down marker. Exactly what they did. They lined up on that first down marker, and when they came across there, they didn't allow it. Right here, it's great. He kind of stared his receiver down probably a little bit too much over there, but really that ball was thrown out of bounds and didn't give his receiver, Vanderhayden, an opportunity to catch it.
Raiders ball, 1st and 10 from the 24. Quarterback is Nance. Nearly fumbled the football. It's down at the 13-yard line. A dangerous play with John Nance almost turning the ball over.
DJ Luby bringing down Nance right there in the backfield. I'll tell you, Nance was so focused, had his eyes downfield, that he didn't see DJ Luby, that inside linebacker, coming on the blitz right there. You got to know what's going on out there, and he almost fumbled that ball right there.
A loss of 10 yards on the play. 2nd and 20, and Springer takes over at quarterback. Something Mike Scanlon's done throughout the year, alternating quarterbacks. Springer in a tough spot here, 2nd and 20. Delay handoff, it's Hickey, who gets back to the line of scrimmage and then maybe a yard. That was it.
And again, you see DJ Luby came into this game with 117 tackles and 2 picks. He's there putting pressure on Nance on the blitz, and right there dragging down Chris Hickey for only about a 2-yard gain right there. This is a big play right here. I don't know what Cretin's got in their playbook, but hard to drop a play for a 3rd and 19 situation.
In a precarious spot on the field, you're working deep in your own territory at the 15. Turnovers a problem for the Raiders in the first half. Took good care of the football in the second half so far. Nance, the quarterback. Spins away from another tackler. And now will run. And Nance out of bounds as he crosses the 20-yard line.
Probably a good idea that he didn't throw that ball. I think he had some linemen downfield near the end of that. That was a very long play over here as he sprints out to the right. Doesn't see anything he likes downfield. Good coverage. And again, the defense of Wayzata just too much right there. And he gets out to the edge right here. Just a little bit more athletic and healthy, but rotating quarterback seems to work pretty well for Cretin. Better than it does for most people.
The punt will come from Spencer, as this fourth quarter, at least at the outset, has become a battle for field position. Miller from the 39. Across midfield to the 48. So the Trojans will start this possession in Raider territory, a 39-yard punt and a 14-yard return. Cretin-Derham Hall unranked in the final poll, but they beat a very good Eden Prairie team to get here. Fell behind early in this game, but now fought back to tie it up, and with 9:54 left, good field position for the Trojans. Met in the backfield. Miller tackled for a loss. Coming up from his defensive line spot, Tyler Johnson with the tackle.
Tyler Johnson not getting very many opportunities, but Tyler flags down, runs down the line of scrimmage, brings down Joey Miller in the backfield for a 2-yard loss on that play. Something we haven't seen very much out of this afternoon is Joey Miller going down the backfield.
Loss of a couple. Miller again. Folded in half as he got across the 45-yard line, a pickup of about 4.
And again, those tough linebackers inside. Robbie Punch bringing down Miller, but Miller able to pick up about 7 or 8 yards in that play. They're going to have to put the ball in the air in the situation. See Vanderheyden coming back into the game. Jake Bogle coming back in the game for Wayzata. So I'd imagine they're going to throw the ball in this situation. We'll see if Cretin-Derham Hall blitzes to put a little bit of pressure on Ben Gaither and see if they can force him to throw it to one of their guys.
And officials timeout here. I believe it's just an official's timeout.
Looks like another equipment adjustment.
Joey Miller has 34 carries. The Prep Bowl record for rushing attempts is 37. Broderick Benz has got to come out of the game because I think of a
it's like a shoulder pad strap.
Shoulder pad or some sort of equipment. Hip pad maybe.
Ray Hitchcock can get him set over there on the sideline.
Matt Slater coming in to take Ben's spot on the defensive line. Gaither deep to the corner. Nearly picked off. Fred Arger almost had a pickoff. And it'll force a Trojan punt.
And they did blitz and put that pressure on the quarterback, but Arger's doing a great job. Number 12 sitting there at his strong safety position, reading the quarterback's eyes. He came into this game with 3 pickoffs. You can see why he does a great job back there playing center field.
McQuillan, been a big player for the Raiders in the second half, standing back at his 15. Beautiful kick. McQuillan from the 7. To the 30-yard line. Another good return for Matt McQuillan as the teams jockey back and forth for field position. Cretin-Derham Hall's field positions just improved a little bit with 8:23 left in the fourth quarter. We're back on 45, the 5A championship game. Cretin-Derham Hall and Wayzata tied up at 21. Springer, the quarterback for the Raiders, 1st and 10 from the 30. Big hole up the middle. Hickey along the sideline. Inside the 40, inside the 35 to the 31-yard line.
Jake Wilhelm, Sam Kimbo, Matt Slater on the inside of that Cretin-Derham Hall offense, paving the way right there. And a nice job of Chris Hickey picking his way, but that offensive line gave him the opportunity to have that big run right there. And when he got in the secondary, he did what good backs do. picked up a lot of yards.
Big running play for Chris Hickey. 39 yards on the carry for Hickey. Springer back. Nice cut back to the inside. Staggers his way to the 25-yard line for a pickup of 6 yards.
Always amazes me. Anytime that I see him running, he kind of limps back off the field. Right now, they're probably going to bring Nance back in the game, but he picks his way right here. Then he makes his big cut right here to get over the field. And he makes another cut to get up inside there and goes down. So he's learned a little bit of a lesson. Don't want to take too many licks.
Right. 2nd down and 4. Talking with Brad Anderson about Wayzata's win over Cretin-Derham Hall early. Said, well, they just kept quarterback Springer off balance. Nance tiptoes around a man. Leaps over another and picks up a 1st down. John Nance slipping on the warning track down by the Twins bullpen area during baseball season.
That warning track might hurt him more than anything else. That thing is probably pretty hard. Looks like he's limping a little bit, but that was a nice run. He broke that tackle in the backfield that he was trying to get to, and then he hurdled the defender at the end of that play. Yeah, nice balance right there by Nance, and then right here at the end of the run to get that 1st down. And he slipped a little bit.
A timeout taken by Wayzata with 7:24 left in the 4th quarter. And Cretin-Derham Hall has never had a lead in this championship game. Wayzata scored first. Cretin-Derham Hall tied it at 7. And Wayzata with 14 points in the 2nd quarter. Cretin-Derham Hall with 14 points in the 3rd quarter.
And Wayzata, hasn't been driven on really this much in this type of game. They've given up big plays against Cretin-Derham Hall, but this drive right here is different. Cretin-Derham Hall, they're running, they're passing, they're really taking advantage of this Wayzata defense. Wayzata coach, you know what? Let me go out here. Let me talk to my guys, settle them down. So you know what, you guys, pay attention to your keys. You got a chance to be successful. Brad Anderson said, you know what? Cretin does make you defend the entire field. Pay attention to your keys. Do the right thing. We'll be all right. I'm sure that's what he's telling them in the huddle.
Wayzata playing without cornerback Tim Cornish, who re-injured his knee on Wednesday in practice. That's caused the secondary shuffle for Wayzata here in the championship game. Springer rolling to his right. Complete. Gain to the 16-yard line. Lance Bonner coming out of the backfield to make the catch for the Raiders.
Yeah, Cretin has a couple packages where they'll use their big backs, and Lance Bonner is an outstanding linebacker, but also here doubles as a tight end, comes out and catches that ball in the flat. Only picks up a few yards in 1st down, but looks like Nance is going to come back in the game, even though his hip's a little bit sore from that falling on the warning track.
Yeah, he came sprinting off the field with an obvious limp out of the shotgun. Handoff goes to Royston. And not much there for the fleet-footed Kim Royston. It's across the 15. And it'll be 4th down and perhaps a chance for the Raiders to kick a go-ahead field goal.
Penetration in the backfield. Anytime Kim gets the ball, seems to be able to get him before he can get up to full speed. They've done a nice job bottling him up this afternoon. John Charest able to bring him down there for no gain.
I beg your pardon, it's just 3rd down, so it's 3rd down and 7 from the 15. Hickey, the long running back. Springer deep to the corner. Incomplete. A long throw to the far corner. Matt McQuillan was there but couldn't pull it down with one hand. And now the field goal attempt.
Yeah, a nice try by Matt McQuillan. Alex Haas back there trying to defend that play right there. And he had to throw it over Alex to get it in there. And unfortunately, he only got one hand up on that, and McQuillan wasn't able to come down with it.
From one hash mark all the way to the deep corner in the end zone. A long throw for Springer. And now a field goal attempt for Kempe of about 32 yards. for the first time tonight, the Raiders have the lead with 5:49 left.
How about Mike Kempe? No, not very often does the kicker get an opportunity to do something in a state championship game. We saw that earlier tonight, but I'll tell you what, a nice kick right there by Kempe.
First half owned by Wayzata. The second half has gone to Cretin-Derham Hall, and the Raiders have a lead. Quite a night for Matt McQuillan. 63 of those 121 punt return yards came on maybe the turnaround play in this game. McQuillan with a long punt return, and the next play from scrimmage, he caught a touchdown pass. And that kind of got the Raiders off the mat a little bit.
It certainly got the Raiders off the mat. And the other thing he does a fabulous job at that cornerback position. He's made some big plays in the secondary tonight, too. So they're getting their money's worth out of Matt McQuillan tonight.
So for the first time tonight, Wayzata trailing. Joey Miller has had such a phenomenal year and a great game here tonight. Back to receive the kick, perhaps. Fat chance of that. That one landing 1 yard from the end line, and it'll be 1st and 10 from the 20 again. And all year long, of course, Ben Spencer's been a big weapon for the Raiders, doing just what he did there, booming it beyond you know, the chance for the other team to catch and return.
Well, it really gives your defense even more confidence, knowing that the other team's got to drive 80 yards to be successful for it. And it also takes some of the wind out of the sails of the offense, because, you know, you're going out there, it's on the 20-yard line. You're like, you know what, I'd like to get on the 25, 30, 35-yard line, but they're not getting that opportunity.
Miller. Man alive, what a determined runner he is, and the durability too. Here we are in the 4th quarter, and he scampers out for an 11-yard gain.
You got Benz and Brandon Kelly on there, and you just look at this young man running, Joey Miller. Tough yards. He finds those seams, but he doesn't really worry about getting tackled. He's always moving upfield, just picking up first down after first down for Wayzata.
Miller again. Gain of a yard, maybe 2. Clock running inside of 5:25.
Fearless runner, too. You would think that he would be tired. Every time I look down there, it doesn't look like it. He hops up, goes back to that huddle. But, you know, one thing he doesn't do, he doesn't take a lot of big shots. He's shifty and he slides to one side of the other of the defender, and he's able to get those yards without taking any big hits.
2nd and 8. Miller breaks it to the outside, cuts back across the 40, near the 45 for another first down. You get the sense, Darryl, don't you, that if Wayzata's going to come back and win this game, or if they lose it, that Joey Miller's going to be the guy touching the ball almost every time the rest of the way.
He is the guy, and I'm getting tired just watching him. I think he's got to be nearing 40 carries. 36 carries, 203 yards.
Both numbers very impressive. And now Miller stumbles as it crosses the 40. Back to the line of scrimmage. If that, it'll be 2nd down and 11.
No, that's the first time I've seen any sign of fatigue on Joey Miller. That time, you know, he just got near this kind of scrimmage. It looked like he was trying to make a cut, and his legs just kind of went out from under him. And I think earlier in the game, that's a chance where he might cut back and pick up 2 or 3 yards. But sometimes late in the game, especially after 36 or 37 carries, the body's just not willing to do it.
Tommy Becker in the lineup for the Trojans. Dangerous pass, but it's caught. A gain shy of first down yardage. Jacob Bogle.
Jake Bogle catching, and Kim Royston again on the play right there. The cornerback that's going to go to the University of Wisconsin and play football next year.
3:45 left in the 4th quarter. On a big 3rd down play here for the Trojans.
Doing an outstanding job figuring, you know what Wayzata wants to do. They're going to hand the ball off to Joey Miller. We're going to key on and try to make him beat us. Yet Joey Miller laced the ball up inside Ethan out and the rest of that Cretin defense, especially Ethan on that play. So, you know what? I got to bring that man down. I can't let him beat us alone.
Inside of 3 minutes, and the Trojans will go for it. 4th and 4. Miller. First down and more. Joey Miller inside the 5.
He's amazing. Just when I thought he was tired, to be like his 39th carry of the game, Mike Scanlon can't believe it himself. He said, that kid has got to be tired. He's looking over the bench and said, just keep giving me the ball. I'll take care of things. 2 minutes and 37 seconds to go in the game. They hand the ball off to Joey Miller. He runs down the sideline, almost scores a touchdown when it looked like we had, or it looks like they had Wayzata dead to rights in that 4th down situation.
On 4th and 4, Miller gets 49. 1st and goal. Touchdown! Jimmy Sharp, his 2nd of the game.
Yeah, Jimmy Sharp is their short yardage big back. They bring him in there in those situations, give Joey Miller a little bit of a rest, but really, Joey Miller has got to deserve a lot of the credit for what happened on that drive. Sharp does a great job of getting the end zone, using his size to get in there, run over the defensive back, but everything was Joey Miller on that drive.
Von Horst for the extra point. It's good. So the Raiders now need a touchdown, down by 4. And Joey Miller with a great presence. As tired as he might be, he got it down to the 1. And
we take another look at Jimmy Sharp just powering that ball into the end zone. And you talk about Cretin-Derham Hall, and they got the potential to make those big plays on offense. When you look at Kim Royston, they got Michael Floyd, who had a big catch earlier this game. They feel like he's the best athlete on their team. Robbie Lampert, 34 catches, 518 yards, and 6 touchdowns coming into this game. So Cretin-Derham Hall has the athletic ability and the talent on offense to do it. Down 4 points with 3 timeouts left in this game. And their kickoff return team hasn't done a bad job this afternoon either. Their special teams have been outstanding.
8 plays, 80 yards on the drive, and Joey Miller ran for 71 of them. Von Horst.
McQuillan.
This is McQuillan. Flag down at the 27-yard line.
Yeah, and it looked like a face mask. I think I saw McQuillan's head just wobble a little bit at the end of that play, and that's not the type of thing they wanted to have. Nice field position starting out at the 26, plus whatever they tack on for the face masking penalty.
Take a look at the face mask grab right there just for a split second, but enough to draw the flag.
Yeah, it's incidental contact, but you just can't have that.
Jamal Zolikoffer reached in and got the face mask. Just a 5-yard penalty that'll take it out to the 31. So it comes down to this, 2:11 left in the 4th quarter. And this Wayzata defense not used to giving up 28 or 24 points in a game. The Raiders with Springer at quarterback. The handoff to Hickey. Second effort, and he reaches out across to about the 40-yard line.
And a nice run by Hickey. I know that they'd like to take some time off the clock and see what they can do about getting the ball down the field, but they got 8 yards on that play right there. They don't want to get a field goal. They want to get a touchdown in the situation, but if they can get chunks like that, then they can afford to take those shots later on.
2nd and 2. 1:40 left. Nance, the quarterback. Firing, incomplete at the 45-yard line. Pass intended for Floyd, and he nearly made a great catch.
That would have been a phenomenal catch by Floyd, and even better throw by Nance. It looked like he was just scrambling, trying to pick up a first down right there, but you can see he throws a missile right here, and he almost comes up with that ball. That would have been a really big-time catch.
So 3rd and 2 with 1:31 left. Springer back in, under center. Hickey close to a first down. Looks like he's got it.
Well, that was their goal in that situation. They wanted to get the first down and get themselves a new set of downs so they can really open that playbook up and have a few more options. They got to get this 4 points, but 1 minute and 25 seconds is still quite a bit of time in a football game with 3 timeouts.
They need to get all 58 yards from where they are. Nance got rid of it. Where? There's the flag, intentional grounding, which will include loss of down. And Nance is slow in getting up.
And that's really too bad. He had an opportunity earlier on that play to throw the ball away, at least throw it at the feet of it. Looked like they were trying to run a little bit of a screenplay right there, but he didn't get a chance to, and being young. That's one of the breaks, and it looks like they got another injured quarterback. They run that little cross fake right there, and then they in the backfield run that play, and he just throws that ball away. No one had an opportunity to catch that.
He just got twisted down here.
He might have fell on that hip that he got bruised when he fell on the warning track again, too.
Well, he's such an important weapon to this Raider team. Great arm strength, and when he has time to throw, he really opens up the field. We've seen it twice in the first half, finding a man deep downfield. He's got range downfield that Springer probably does not have, and brings a great deal of athleticism. But it certainly looks as if he's going to be done as he comes off unable to put any weight at all on that right leg.
Yeah, that's too bad. You hate to see a kid leave the field when he can't even put any weight on that leg at all. Hopefully he'll be all right, but that does put the pressure back on Joey Springer, another strong arm quarterback that seemed to have a lot more time on the clock than John Nance.
A loss of 21 on the play. 2nd and 31. Springer looking, trying to find a rabbit he can pull out of a hat. Across the middle. That'll be to the 31-yard line. Justin Claiborne. Claiborne gets it to the 31, and now Cretin-Derham Hall's called a timeout.
Well, Claiborne was their punt return man, so they tried to sneak the ball to him underneath in hopes that he'd be able to make a big run and pick up some positive yards. But Wayzata defense does a good job of putting the clamp on him, not only covering the deep route with that umbrella 4 deep coverage at their end, but also doing a good job underneath and able to bring him down for really only about a 5 or 6 yard gain, forcing Cretin-Derham Hall into it. Well, I'm sure they're in 4-down territory with 1 minute, 3 seconds on the clock, but they got 21 yards before they can get a first down. But one thing that Wayzata got to realize is that Cretin is not trying to probably not going to try to get all of it in one play. They do have 2 plays to get a first down, and they can take a couple shots at the end zone after that.
5 sacks for Wayzata, totaling losses of 49 yards. So it'll be 3rd down and 21. Springer, of course, the quarterback. Royston in motion. Springer heaves it down the sideline. Out of bounds. It'll be 4th down and 21.
No, they would like to get a little bit more out of that play than that right there. But I tell you, Springer had pressure. Becker came on a late blitz right up the middle. Slipped. He probably stayed under control a little bit. He would have had an opportunity. Would have had an opportunity if he had kept his feet, but it was just a difficult situation right there. And Cretin maybe a little bit curious why they try to get everything on that 3rd down play right there. But hard to figure out exactly what's going through a coordinator's mind.
Mike Scanlon with the call, and this is the season for the Raiders. 4th down, 21. Less than a minute to play. Royston, wide right. Kyle Moore also down here on the near side. Springer hit as he throws. Caught at the 45-yard line. Down at the 41. It's a first down for the Raiders. Kyle Moore with the catch and a huge conversion. The clock will run as soon as the ball is set. 45 seconds left. I think Springer wants to spike the ball. There's the whistle. There's the spike. 43 seconds left. And the Raiders convert on 4th and 21.
Well, I'm shocked. I can't lie. I thought it was curtains for Cretin right there, but Springer does a good job, hangs in there in the pocket and just throws the ball for all he's worth. And Kyle Moore comes down with it right there and almost breaks that tackle that didn't that play. But it really looks like Springer just threw that ball. I don't think he saw Kyle Moore over there, but he knew that the season was over regardless if they didn't. Surprised they didn't call a timeout right there instead of spiking the ball.
They've got 2 timeouts left. What a football game. We said it during the 4A games. Has been a treat to watch. 2nd and 10. Springer from the shotgun, and now Cretin-Derham Hall has called a timeout.
And Mike saw something he didn't like. He's upset coming out there on the field. I like what he... Yeah, it could be costly using that timeout, but I saw something I think I liked over there. They had trips over on the left-hand side of the field, a single receiver on the right. Their single receiver is their most athletic receiver, Michael Floyd, so I'd imagine they try to isolate him, and they would. The trips over on the other side, he would have single coverage over on the right, and I don't think they can cover him. I imagine that was a goal, but I don't know what's going on out there. It's hard to figure out exactly what the coordinators are thinking, but I think that's what I'd be trying to do is isolate that young man and see if I can get him in the end zone.
.43 seconds left. Sam Zira, listed as a safety, has to move back to a cornerback spot because of the injury we mentioned earlier to Tim Cornish. So they've had to patch some holes back there. Now they're trying to hang on to a 4-point lead. Springer deep to the corner, underthrown, incomplete.
Trying to get the ball to Michael Floyd, and that isolation over on the left, it looked like he was running a corner route, and a lot of pressure again on Joey Springer, and he sails that ball out there and outside. Almost had that ball intercepted, and now we got a 3rd down situation, which brings up the question of why he spiked that ball on 1st down, but they did want to stop the clock and ended up calling a timeout anyway because they saw something they didn't like. They weren't in the right formation.
3rd and 10. Still a timeout left. If they can't pick up the 1st down here, maybe a chance to call the timeout there. Springer again out of the shotgun. Incomplete. Had to get rid of it in a hurry. The blitz being put on by Eric Lee.
Nice blitz by Eric Lee, and then he was trying to get the ball to Robbie Lampert, Joe Springer was, but he ended up throwing that ball at his feet. It's hard to throw the ball when you're backing up on your heels.
33 seconds left. Cretin-Derham Hall will not take the timeout, and now Wayzata will. So the Trojans call a timeout.
Not a bad idea really at all. You want to make sure that you have your defense set for this, and you can talk about any situations you've had coming up, because especially in high school, they don't have a chance to break down as much of the film, but I'm sure the coaches have looked at every inch of film. They want them to know what's going to happen or what potentially could happen in this situation.
Once it became apparent that the Raiders weren't going to call a timeout, you've got 2 left up on the board. You're probably not going to use them. Probably not going to go into overtime in this game.
Nope, no, we're probably not going to have overtime at all. Either Cretin-Derham Hall is going to figure out a way to score, or else this game's going to be over. Which for Cretin and the 120 kids that are dressed this afternoon would be awfully exciting.
Earlier, in fact, just a few moments ago, they converted on 4th and 21. Now 4th and 10. And now Cretin-Derham Hall. Well, no, I think Wayzata's taking another timeout. So Brad Anderson's used both timeouts here. And how much of this, Darryl, might simply be to give his defense a rest?
I don't think it's to give his defense a rest. I think it's because he saw something he didn't like when they came out there. They came out with 2 receivers on the right, 2 receivers on the left. I don't think that was what he had planned for. He said, you know what, rather than mess around with this, it's 4th down and 10. We got a championship on the line right here. I'd rather call a timeout. Even if Cretin changes it, at least I'm going to put out there what I think I need to put out there in this situation. I'm still all for everything over on the left and trying to get the ball to Michael Flood, the most athletic guy, at least they claim, on the field. Even though it does look like his hamstring's a little bit tweaked, he's been holding on to his leg the last few plays.
Kim Royston's had a fairly quiet game, another athletic player.
Yes, he has.
Dangerous when the ball's in his hands. But Royston's not coming out of the sideline huddle.
Fired up mom right there.
4th and 10, and again the season for the Raiders. Springer heaves it down the middle. Picked off at the 7-yard line. Interception by Wayzata's Sam Sura.
Great play by Zamsura right there. You had to know that they're going to try to go to Michael Floyd. He's the most athletic player on Cretin-Derham Hall's team. They tried to hit him deep right there. Looks like his leg was just a little bit twisted up, but they threw the ball to him. Zamsura came down playing the great job of playing center field right there. Got the interception for Wayzata to seal the victory for the Trojans.
So now Cretin-Derham Hall with just 1 timeout left can stop it just once. And Joey Springer with an interception on the last play, perhaps his last play of the game. And Zera, who again was asked by Brad Anderson to switch positions again, although on that play at least he was lined up as a safety.
Yeah, they were lined up in their prevent defense right there, but Zero did a good job. Located that ball when he got it at his highest point and came down with it. That really did seal the victory for Wayzata.
And the timeout taken by Cretin-Derham Hall with 20 seconds left.
Not much Cretin can do at this point. There's a 2nd down. They're going to have an opportunity to run the rest of the clock off right here.
It's a great battle here in the 5A championship. And to no one's surprise, our player of the game brought to you by All-American Recreation, where all we sell is fun. Joey Miller, 39 rushes, 252 yards. And remember that 4th and 4 call that he got. They needed 4 yards to keep their season alive. And instead he got 49 and set up the game-winning touchdown.
And he's an even better hockey player. That's pretty scary.
That's right.
Yeah,
Remember
39
that, folks.
carries for 250 yards. And pretty soon he's got to start playing hockey, probably in a week or so.
Well, I tell you what, as durable as he is, I bet you he doesn't come off on many line changes.
No,
just leave him
not.
out there on the ice.
I'm sure Don Lucia would like to have him.
This Wayzata team, very strong. They beat some very good teams to get here and ran into a very good team in Cretin-Derham Hall, and that should do it. Not much that the Raiders can do about it. Wayzata for the first time in school history winning a football championship. They beat the Raiders earlier this year in the regular season and now are the 5A champs, 28-24.
Cretin-Derham Hall outscored them in the second half. They just didn't have enough in the first half to really make it a game. We mentioned that at halftime that it was the turnovers. Their coach mentioned when they have turnovers, they're unsuccessful. They had too many turnovers in the first half and put themselves behind too far, being behind at the halftime 21-7, coming back, tying it up 21-21 going into the fourth quarter. The field goal at the end of the game for Wayzata is basically, the field goal at the end of the game for Wayzata is really what sealed this game up.
Let's go down to Leah. She's got Brad Anderson. Very happy Brad Anderson, and relieved as well. Leah?
Coach, now that is quite an exciting game. First of all, congratulations on being the 5A champs. How does that feel?
You know, words can't describe it at this point. It's been a long time coming.
Talk us through a little bit that third quarter when all of a sudden Cretin comes back. What are you thinking? What are you saying to the players?
Well, you know, we don't talk at that time because the players knew that Cretin's a great club and they could score and that they would come back. And so, you know, it's not like it was a surprise that they could put up points in a hurry. I was really proud at the way our team responded, you know, after they had gained so much momentum to come back and hold them to a field goal down there. Our defense just did a great job all night, and that was the difference. I said when they came off the field, that field goal was huge. And I just felt we still had one more good drive in us, and I just knew we were going to, you know, give it our best shot, and thank goodness it came through.
A lot of kids come up big for you today. Miller has a huge day for you. Talk a little bit about him.
Well, Joey's kind of the heart of this team. We got a lot of great players on offense and defense. You know, I can't single any guy out, but, you know, Joey's the heart. He's what drives the engine, and when it was fourth down, there was no doubt in our mind who we were going to. It was just a matter of what play we were going to call for him, and he's just come through all year long, and it's just been a pleasure to coach him for the last 3 years.
Coach, congratulations on a huge win.
Thank you so much.
All right.
45 minutes after the award ceremony in the main gymnasium at Cretin-Derham Hall High School. Cretin-Derham Hall, 45 minutes. Wayzata, 1 hour. Thank you.
A year ago, Wayzata got to this championship game, lost to a very good Minnetonka team, 23-14. And it looked for all the world, Darrell, as if what was a not comfortable, but a lead that kind of showed everybody, I think, how good Wayzata was. I mean, they really stuck it to Cretin-Derham Hall in that first half, had the 14-point lead, but it looked for a while as if Cretin-Derham Hall, in fact, they took the lead, might be able to disappoint Wayzata again in the championship game because all the momentum seemed to be going the Raiders' way late in that third quarter.
In the second half, and then in the third quarter, the way that Cretin-Derham Hall came back, got those points back up on the board, and really fought their way back in here, and then got the lead for the first time in the entire game and was driving down. But Wayzata, you got to give them credit. They did not quit, and they hung in this game. And Joey Harris, he had a fabulous game. He was a big-time running back today, and Joey Miller, and he really, like Coach Anderson said, is the heart and soul of that team. On that fourth down situation, fourth and about 7 or 8 yards, he rips off a 59-yard run. He's a leader on that team. And you know what? There were two coaches who were sure who was going to get the ball on that 4th and 4. Brad Anderson, but also Mike Scanlon knew it as well. I'll give you some idea how good a running back this young man is. Everybody from Cretin-Derham Hall, I'm sure, keying on Joey Miller, and he still got his 49-yard run. He got that 49-yard run because that play was designed to go to the outside. It was blocked out there. The Cretin did a good job of stopping it. He cuts up inside, breaks a few tackles, and runs down the sideline 59 yards, putting his team in position to win. Even in victory, Ben Gaither emotional. This is his last football game for his high school, and he goes out in style with a state championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, the award ceremony for the 5A championship game is about to begin. Will the Wayzata Trojans and Cretin-Derham Hall Raiders please line up on their respective sideline and face their spectators? Awards will be presented by the following members of the Minnesota State High School League Board of Directors: Mark Queasley, Rochester; Mark Quinlan, Circle Pines; Lou Canavanti, St. Paul; and Kathy Peterson of Minneapolis. Silver medals and the Class 5A second place trophy will be awarded to Cretin-Derham Hall High School. Will their captains please come forward to receive their awards? Congratulations, second place finish to Cretin-Derham Hall. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2005 Minnesota State High School Class 5A football champion is Wayzata High School. Will the captains please step forward to receive your gold medals and championship trophy? Congratulations to the teams from both Wayzata and Cretin-Derham Hall and their schools for outstanding participation in this year's state football tournament. The 2005 Minnesota State Class 5A football champion is Wayzata. On behalf of the entire Minnesota State High School League, we appreciate your attendance at this event. Please drive home safely, and we'll see you next year here at Metrodome.
Even after winning a state championship, the realization that the high school football career has come to a close for some very good players. We'll come back to the Dome in a moment. Back at the Metrodome, where we've had two outstanding games in the 4A championship and the 5A championship, culminating with this 5A championship for Wayzata. It's been a long time since I've been involved with the Prep Bowl, about 10 years, and now I know what I've been missing. I mean, we had two of the better high school football games I've ever seen here in the last two championship games.
No, they were outstanding games, and those kids got a lot to be proud of. As we look at, Wayzata walking off with this championship trophy, Cretin-Derham Hall's got nothing to be ashamed of. They fought back in the second half and really made this thing a game. Wayzata outstanding with especially that running back, Joey Miller, made a big, big difference in that in this game.
And for Cretin-Derham Hall, they had a tough time getting things going offensively in the first half. Of course, they lost that regular season game to Wayzata, but to their credit, they really took control of things. And in a game that did not have that many really big plays in the first half, early on it was Cretin-Derham Hall that got the big plays they needed in the second half.
Cretin-Derham Hall just had too many turnovers in the first half. They could not get things going. They came out in the second half and really mounted an attack, got those 14 points in the second half and got the lead. And unfortunately, at the end of the game for them, Wayzata just came back and kicked that field goal and took the wind out of their sails.
Well, we saw some great running backs here today, and it was my pleasure to work with one of Minnesota's best. Daryl, I appreciate all your help.
Thank you.
We'll come back to wrap Prep Bowl 2005 up when we come back to the Metrodome in just a moment.
We're back at Prep Bowl. The Class 5A champions are crowned, and there's your player of the game, Joey Miller, with the biggest play of the day, biggest play of the season, and leads to the touchdown that seals the deal for Wayzata. And the numbers, 6 full games in practically 24 hours of football, for goodness sakes. The 9-man champion, Stephen Argyle. Class 1A is Springfield. 2A, Eden Valley. Becker finally gets a championship for Coach Lundeen. 4A is the Matamidi. And Class 5A, Cretin-Derham Hall, Wayzata. You just saw it here. Wayzata is the champion. Final thought on what an amazing day.
What a long day and what a great day of football. I mean, it was just, what a culmination with this 5A game. It was just unbelievable.
Wayzata finally gets its championship that it has long coveted. And as we go to break, some final thoughts coming up. You're watching Channel 45's exclusive coverage of the State High School Football Championships live from the Metrodome. In the wee small hours of Saturday morning, we finally have 6 new champions here in the state of Minnesota. The 24th Prep Bowl has wrapped up. Stephen Argyle, Springfield, Eden Valley Watkins, Becker, Matamidi, and Wayzata. Congratulations to all their players, their staffs, their students, and their families. What an outstanding day of football. Quick thought.
Absolutely, and everyone talks about the great football they have in Ohio, Florida, California. Minnesota is a great football state, and today proved it. It was just a great day of football. 12 teams competing. It It was beautiful.
Great stuff, and thank goodness we had a roof today with the snowfall that we've had. For all of us at Hubbard Broadcasting, Jim Farnhurst, myself, Leah B. Olson, that's a wrap. Have a great night from Channel 45.
You're watching KSTC TV, Minneapolis, St. Paul.